and Snapchat at PCN TV and cheer on your team using hashtag PCN Sports. The 30th year the PIAA has been conducting PIAA football state championships, and Pine Richland looking for their first, St. Joe's Prep looking for their fourth under Gabe Infante. The 21st season that PCN has been bringing you these state championship games live throughout the state thanks to our cable partners. And St. Joe's Prep down 7-0, back to work with 8 minutes and 40 seconds to go in the first quarter. They'll keep it on the ground as McCray will hand it off, and it's Mason now in as the tailback again. We'll see a mixture of both Marcus Mason, a junior, and Colby Burrell, a sophomore, at the tailback spot.
Mike Kadick made another play in there. Big defensive tackle, number 68, 6'3", 280. He's going to have to be good in there tonight because they want to run the ball up the middle. 2nd down and 8. Play action fake, and McCray will keep it himself. He's got the left edge. He's got the 35 and out close to a first down. They need to get to the 38 to pick up the first down, and I think he's going to be a little bit short. We'll see it happen right here. A little QB power, a little QB counter right here. You get 2 offensive linemen pulling around to the left-hand side, get in front of McCray, and then you've got a 6'2", 220-pound man out there on your safety.
Comes up a yard short, so put the Hawks in a 3rd and 1 now. Brandon Sanders is split out as the receiver to the left. They'll pack 2 tight ends on each side and go with an I formation. They'll go to Burrell, follows his fullback, gets the first down, keeps on driving forward across the 40, 45, and almost to midfield. Tough running for Colby Burrell for the first down.
It's old-time football right there. Just ran a power play to the left, get a pulling guard, get the fullback leading up in there. Burrell does a great job. He hides in behind his big, I guess that was his center, Cerruti, that got in front of him there. Pulling the center, I like that. It's an athlete.
They bring in Cooper Kim as the fullback in that spot as well, at 210 pounds to help lead the way. And Burrell did the rest himself to get an 11-yard first down run. He goes in motion now, swinging out of the backfield. And they'll hand it to the other back instead in Burrell. And not much doing against Pine Richland. Pine Richland not buying the fake to go to one back. And they actually keep, it's McCray who keeps it himself and picks up 2. He's at midfield. 2nd down and 8 at the 50-yard line.
You know, both of these head coaches call the defenses. It's fun to watch them over there. They're very animated in their signaling.
Eric Kasparovich was an outstanding high school quarterback, became a linebacker when he went to Pitt. Big hole for Colby Burrell. He is through that hole and still on his feet and all the way down inside the 30 and down to about the 25-yard line. They'll spot him down right at the 25 and a 25-yard gain for Burrell.
It's a nice little play right there, just a little draw play. McCray drops back, makes it look like he's going to pass the football, tucks the ball into Burrell's stomach, and he's right up the gut.
Lanahan tight end to the right. Burrell comes out. Mason back in at the tailback spot to McCray's left. And he wants to throw it. Looking down the middle slot, and it's broken up. Well played defensively. They were looking for James Cherry, but right there was Ray Falcone to get a hand on it for Pine Richland.
Yeah, McCray was just a touch off there. He had Cherry to the inside there, but it's great defense. It's not easy to pitch and catch right now. It's cold out there. The snow's stopped. It's not great conditions for throwing the football, but both teams have to play in it, so it's not an excuse for either coach.
St. Joe's Prep going a little hurry up here. They're right back to the line of scrimmage. McCray on the quarterback draw play, and Pine Richland will wrap him up and not let him get free. Well played defensively there for Pine Richland, and it's Tyler King who makes the tackle from his outside linebacker spot.
Yeah, that was a nice play. He had a pulling guard or tackle that came around the corner, that QB counter. He took it on with his inside shoulder and just boxed it and made the tackles. Nice work.
Holds McCray to a 2-yard gain, makes it 3rd down and 8. 4-down territory for sure for the Hawks, who trail 7-0 inside of 6 minutes left to go in the first quarter. McCray wanting to throw it, makes the quick hitter. Cherry makes a man miss. 10, 5, ball is in the end zone and loose, and Pine Richland recovers it. We'll wait and see how the officials call this. Right around the goal line is where the ball got popped loose. The Hawks want a touchdown. The Rams want a touchback.
Let's watch this. This is a nice pass.
Rolling on the field is a touchback. 1st and 10. Pine Richland.
There it is. You saw it right there. It came out at the 1, and it is recovered by King. I told you it was touch something. It was either touchdown or touchback, and it was a touchback as it came out at the 1, and King recovered it in the end zone. And so Pine Richland will take over, and they'll get the ball at the 20.
That's a huge stop right there. Look, Cherry was going in the end zone. That's a touchdown right there. It's a great hit. And then for King to pop up and get that ball in the end zone. Falcone, again, is another kid. High school football, plays on both sides of the ball. Ray Falcone is one of their leading receivers. He's also playing defensive back. He goes in and makes a great hit right there. Forces the fumble. King gets it, changes things quick.
And so there comes Jurkovic back to work, run again out of a naked backfield. And he throws this one. The pass is caught, and it's his favorite target, or perhaps his most busy target is a better way to describe Jason DeFrancis, who makes the catch and runs it for a first down. All the way out across the 30 to about the 34-yard line on a 14-yard hookup from Jurkovic to DeFrancis. Right back they come to DeFrancis. Little slip screen inside, and the Hawks are all over it. Don't let it get free. Dawson DeUlius comes up from his free safety spot and read it perfectly.
Yeah, that was a great play by DeUlius right there. He just drove up on the. He saw the inside pattern, right? The tunnel screen. Receivers driving inside. The O-line's coming out to get him. You know you got to get there real fast before those big bodies get in front of you.
And so they lose 4 back to the 30. DeUlius with 70 receptions on the season coming in. Here's Jurkovic on the keeper. Made the defense for St. Joe's Prep honor the handoff to Crawford, and Jurkovic keeps it. Runs back what they lost on the first play. Turns it into about a 2nd and 7.
Yeah, get a little fake here. You get a pulling lineman in front of it. See how it opens the middle up, and next thing you know, you've got Jurkovic up there on the safeties.
Make it 3rd and 7 to be more precise as he runs for 7. 3rd down and 7 at the 37. Flags again come in on the snap of the football.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, 5-yard penalty. It remains 3rd down.
2nd against the Rams, puts them now obviously in a 3rd and 12. Back at the 32-yard line. Yes, that is the 32. You're going to have to trust me. Because numbers, they do not exist anymore. They're under the snow.
I'm not even going to try. It's all you.
3rd down and 12. 4:25 left to go in the first. Francis is lined up right slot with Falcone split to the right. Goltz slot left. Crawford is slot left with Falcone split left. And they actually have Tyler King in there as they help her to block. And now the play clock is going to wind down, and if they don't call a timeout, they do. So Pine Richland has to call the timeout. So some kind of confusion right there in terms of what they wanted to do.
Timeout.
So they call
Richland, first charge timeout.
They call the timeout instead of getting the 5-yard penalty a little bit further back. And told you that these two met in 2014. St. Joe's Prep winning that game by a score of 49-41, and what a shootout it was as they went back and forth throughout the football game. DeAndre Swift at that point in time was just a sophomore, but there's Ben DiNucci, who's now playing at Pitt, and he kept the Rams rolling through that offensive shootout. Back and forth they went. 49-41 was the final score. DiNucci threw for a PIAA championship game record 383 yards. And that young man right now is playing at the University of Georgia. He'll be playing in the Bowl Championship Series. He was playing since he's a freshman, and he ultimately comes away with 226 yards in that football game. 4 touchdowns to go along with it. Every time it looked like the Rams were done, somehow or another DiNucci came back. Mike Merhot, his top receiver, who's now at Slippery Rock, had a state record 14 receptions in that football game. And ultimately, St. Joe's Prep won the championship. Now it's 3rd and 12. Another little tunnel screen, this time to Crawford. He makes the catch. He's back across the 35 to about the 37. They get back what they lost to the penalty, and maybe a little bit more. Put him in a 4th and about 7. Punt. Cherry's not back deep enough, and it rolls all the way back. He goes back and picks it up at about his own 7. Makes one man miss. Gets it to the 10. Gets it to the 15. Has an edge. He's at the 30. He's at the 40. James Cherry gets the block he needs, and James Cherry's got one man to beat, and he will take it from one end to the other. However, flag on the play. Flag thrown back at midfield. What would have been an 89-yard punt return for James Cherry is coming back. 3 minutes and 16 seconds left to go in the first quarter. We'll wait and see where they're going to spot the football. Again, it's on the return. The flag was thrown out and around midfield. So it'll still be good field position for St. Joe's Prep, but obviously take the 6 points off the board.
Yeah, that was a great return.
During the return, holding return team. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, 1st and 10.
3 minutes, 16 seconds remaining in quarter number 1. Pine Richland with the quick strike to get it started. And they lead the St. Joe's Prep Hawks 7-0. St. Joe's has the football when we come back to Hershey.
These days, life is busy, but amazing. From the sci-fi brilliance of technology to the existence of toast, we move at a crazy pace until this happens. Time for MedExpress. Walk right in, get the care you need, and get right back at it. MedExpress, because life is urgent.
Game days are about more than the outcome. They are also about important life lessons. What it means to play with integrity, fairness, and respect. Represent your school and your community. The name on the front of the jersey is more important than the name on the back. You are part of something bigger than yourself, and regardless of the result, achieving the greatest victory of good character and sportsmanship.
Usually when we promote the farm show here on PCN, we like to have fun. But today I thought I'd let Governor Tom...
What do you mean we usually have fun?
Yeah, like we're not fun?
Well, I figured you...
Hey, where do cows go for entertainment?
They go to the movies.
No, they go to the farm show. See what I did there?
The Pennsylvania Farm Show, January 6th through the 12th on PCN and the PCN Select app.
There you see what we are looking at. The playing conditions here at Hershey Park Stadium. 7-0. Pine Richland is on top of St. Joe's Prep. And again, we're talking about that showdown a couple years ago between St. Joe's Prep and Pine Richland. St. Joe's Prep at that point in time was ranked right now is ranked number 2. Pine Richland coming in ranked number 1. And you can see what they've done over the course of the season. Pine Richland averaging 47 points per game. St. Joe's Prep averaging 36 points per game. And here comes the offense. And it's Colby Burrell, who's had a couple of big runs for the Hawks, and he has another one back across midfield, and another first down run for Burrell. This one goes for 13 and down to the 42-yard line of Pine Richland.
Yeah, good job there. Casey Stevenson, the left guard, pulls around the corner there, gets Burrell a block, and then he's out into the defensive secondary.
4 carries for 49 yards already for Burrell. They'll go right back to the hot hand, and he breaks a tackle. He's loose. He's at the 35 and 30, and another first down run will take him all the way down to the 25-yard line. 17 more for Colby Burrell.
This is what they need to do, right? You've got to control the football, control the clock, keep your offense on the field, keep that Rams offense off of the field. At the end of the day, be really, really physical and see if you can wear this defense out.
Burrell had a season-high 127 yards last week against Coatesville, and now they go back to the other back in Marcus Mason. The ball's loose again. Bodies jump on the top of the pile and around the 11-yard line. We're going to see who comes away with it. Looks like the Hawks will keep it.
Anthony Rightly, I think, got in there and got the ball. That's huge hustle right there. That's why coaches are always preaching, run to the football, run to the football. And as tiring as that gets to hear as a player, there's a reason for it.
All of a sudden it comes true, and it happened right there as McCray lost the handle on it. They'll keep it after the 14-yard pickup for Mason, excuse me. And now it is McCray, the quarterback, who wants to keep it. And they'll wrap him up right around the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard to call it the 11. 2nd down and 1 for the Hawks.
Just keep changing it up, right? Don't run the same, just a little bit different every time. Keep the defense on its toes. Make sure the linebackers in the secondary are being great with their eyes. When you add the quarterback into the run game, it creates an extra gap that you have to fit. And so everybody has to be on the same page. Everybody needs to be where they need to be.
Sophomore Lenahan, the tight end, is lined up on the left side on 2nd and 9. They hand it to Mason, and they don't fool Pine Richland. Pine Richland was all over that one. As they come off the edge, they wrap him up right around the line of scrimmage, and it's 3rd and 9.
Yeah, Pine Richland brought a little pressure there, which, you know, again, it's the chess match. It's a lot of fun to watch as these two coaches kind of get after it and signal and change things up and see where the weaknesses are and make some adjustments. I mean, that's what this game's all about tonight.
3rd down and 9 as a result. It's Mason still in the backfield, sidecar left of McCray. 2 receivers each way for senior quarterback Marquez McCray. McCray looks left, looks right, finds the receiver in a slot, but he cannot hold on. It was Rightly, had it in his fingertips, could not hold it. It's 4th down.
Those are the little things in games like this, right? When you've got 2 opportunities now. This is the 2nd opportunity they've had to come away with a touchdown. And again, you had the fumble on the last drive, and this one right here, Rightly has the ball go right through his fingertips. That should be another touchdown.
Instead, it's 4th down now and 9 from the 12-yard line. They will forego the field goal. It would appear in these conditions, or will they?
Timeout.
Gabe Infante and St. Joe's Prep is going to call a timeout and talk about it. You're looking at about a 29-yard field goal should they try it. But again, it's one thing to try a 29-yard field goal in high school at all, but in these conditions, it becomes a whole lot different animal. 1:14 left to play in half and quarter number 1. 7-0 is our score. Checking more with Steve Degler on the sidelines.
Bob, thank you very much. Both these teams are very active off the field. We'll talk about Pine Richland a little bit later, but for the past 6 summers, St. Joe's Prep has gone on a service trip. This year, they headed to South Bend, Indiana, where they worked with at-risk children at a camp. In previous years, they've worked in Georgia State College, Michigan, Ohio, and Alabama, where they cleaned up after tornadoes had decimated the area. In Georgia, they helped with Habitat for Humanity building homes. In Michigan, they went to Detroit, worked with low-income children, and did some landscaping and cleanup. When they were in Ohio, was working with a youth program, and in State College, they worked to build a carnival for area youth. About 65, 70 players go each year, along with 7 or 8 coaches, and then they tour the college facility that is closest to where they are.
Some great stuff that these teams do, and again, it's not just being a football team, it's being a school, a member of your school community.
5-yard penalty.
Out of the timeout.
4th down.
St. Joe's Prep commits the procedure penalty. That's going to back them up 5 yards. Puts them now, instead of a 4th and 9, back in a 4th and 14, back at the 17-yard line. So it gets a little bit tougher now for the Hawks. Again, they can get a 1st down without getting a touchdown, but they've got to get it to the 1. McCray looking for the lob, looking for the end zone, looking for somebody to make a play, but Brandon Sanders is well covered, double covered, as a matter of fact, in the end zone. The pass is incomplete, and on downs, Pine Richland will take possession.
Yeah, McCray didn't have a chance to get that ball in there at all. Sanders was covered up. He had the corner underneath and the safety over the top there. That's one of those ones, again, this is another one of those drives where, you take the points. Does Coach Infante, we mentioned it, it's hard enough to kick a field goal in high school, let alone when it's 20 degrees outside and there's snow on the ground. So I understand that and being aggressive, but at the same time, you want to come away with points. You weren't able to do it on the last drive because of the fumble. You missed an opportunity here for a touchdown. At least getting 3 points on the board is better than nothing.
So now Pine Richland gets the football back, ahead 7-0 with 1:09 left to go in the first quarter. Jurkovic right away wanting to go to work. Right away he's flushed out of the pocket. Jurkovic going to take matters into his own hand, directing traffic, knocked off his feet as he gets back across the 20 to about the 25-yard line. And Jurkovic runs not quite enough for a 1st down. Give him about 7 and make it 2nd down coming up. Inside handoff, and getting through traffic is Kenny White. He'll get the 1st down, finally run out of bounds out close to the 40-yard line. Another 1st down on the ground for Pine Richland as Kenny White runs to the 40.
It's a good job by the O-line right here. You had a little twist game inside for St. Joe's Prep's D-line. And it actually worked in the Rams' favor right there as Kenny White was able to hit the hole vacated by the D tackle.
Jurkovic will fake the handoff to White this time and keep it himself. He'll get it out to the 45-yard line. Brad Cobaugh there to wrap him up. Jurkovic leans forward to the 43, and they are right up on the line of scrimmage to snap the football.
That's such a tough play because you got Kenny White running in front of everything, right? So as a defender, you see that going across, that flash. Then all of a sudden, you've got Dracovic coming right at you, right up the middle.
2nd and 3 from the 46. They're going to run a toss option this time. White trying to make people miss, and he doesn't. 4 Hawks around him, and they'll wrap him up. Virtually no gain on the play. It'll bring up 3rd down.
That was a great job by Liam Johnson out there at 43. Does a great job, gets out there, plays his option responsibility, and they stop him for no gain.
Pine Richland got a great kickoff return to start this football game. They punched it in the end zone, and that's the only score, the first quarter. The 6A state championship game, 12 minutes in the books. It's the Rams 7, the St. Joe's Preps Hawks nothing, live on PCN.
Packed with 9 essential nutrients, low-fat chocolate milk can be an important part of your recovery routine. Refuel with chocolate milk after your next workout.
PSAC, the Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference, is an NCAA Division II intercollegiate conference consisting of 18 Pennsylvania schools. And PCN is your place to watch the PSAC Wrestling Championships. The PSAC Wrestling Championships on PCN and on demand with PCN Select, December 15th at 7 p.m. Go to PCNTV.com for more details.
After a great victory over Union forces in June 1863, Robert E. Lee marches his army to Pennsylvania. The advancing Confederates clash with General Meade's Union Army at Gettysburg, beginning the most famous battle of the Civil War. Explore our nation's past and the Gettysburg battlefield with the Gettysburg Collection. Become a member to stream hundreds of Gettysburg videos online, on the app, and on Roku. Learn more at gettysburgcollection.com.
We start the second quarter alongside Brandon Noble. My name is Bob McCool. Steve Degler is on the sideline. Mike Zambelli, Jim Wills will have our halftime show coming up when second quarter comes to an end. But right now, the second quarter gets rolling with Pine Richland on top of St. Joe's Prep by a score of 7-0. And the Rams have the football on a 3rd down and 2 from their own 47-yard line. Phil Jerkovic, the future Fighting Irishman of Notre Dame, from the shotgun. King actually goes in motion from right side to left, and Jerkovic in trouble, runs out of trouble, and trying to run for the first down and will not. St. Joe's Prep does not let him get loose. They'll wrap him up and deny him the first down. It's 4th and about a yard.
That was a great job. I think it's number 50. Free gets in here, creates some issues. Wallace cleans him up, and then you see Phil O'Connor, number 10, come up and lower the boom to keep Jerkovic from getting that extra half a yard to get that first down.
That's about what they need. 4th down and maybe a half a yard, maybe a whole one, depending on which side of the state you're rooting for. It's 4th and 1, and they're going to go for it, it would appear. Jerkovic wants it, and Jerkovic will not get it. Just tremendously well played by St. Joe's Prep. And I'm pretty sure it was Rayshawn Wallace who got the first contact on the quarterback. Watch number 20.
Yep, they tried to pull the guy in front of him, get a back block there from the center. Wallace got off the ball so fast, he was on Jerkovic before he could get going. That's a great stop right there.
And so it magnifies itself even more because St. Joe's Prep now gets possession of the football, and they have it on the Pine Richland side of the 50. Down 7-0. They'll start from the Rams' 48-yard line. So a huge play defensively. And an interesting call, to say the least, for Eric Kasparovich and the Pine Richland Rams to go for it at that spot in the game with the lead. And the gamble does not pay off. I guess that's why they call it gambling. And so we'll see if the Hawks can capitalize. 1st and 10 for the Pine Richland 48-yard line. McCray wants to throw for it right away. He's in trouble. Spins out and cannot spin completely out of all the traffic. And he gets wrapped up and he gets tossed down. And it's Andrew Christophic who will get the credit for the tackle. Sack of a loss of 2.
That was a great job. Just brought 4 there. Tommy Camino there, 6'1", 210 senior, coming off the edge. Gets McCray down. He's not easy to tackle. I think the Hawks need to run the football. They need to run the football from here to the end zone and just knock the throwing stuff off.
Running out of a pistol set here, and this is the guy who's been running the best, and that's Burrell. The sophomore gets bumped out of bounds across the 40 and almost to the 35, and that's going to be enough for another first down run. So to emphasize Brandon's point, they've got 6 first downs on the ground, and Burrell has done the bulk of the work as he runs for another 14 yards and a first down run. For Burrell, 6 carries and 81 yards already. Right back to that ground game. Different story this time as Burrell tries to run between the tackles and does not have as much success.
I think, though, that when you look at what the Hawks have done, right, they've moved the ball down the field running it, and then when they get inside the red zone, all of a sudden they pick it up and start throwing it. And now it gets harder to throw the ball down there because there's less space to cover and the DBs are packed in. You know, keep running the football. That's who you are. That's what you do.
2nd down and 8 from the 34-yard line. McCray wants to throw for it, but it's too high and incomplete. His intended target was Johnny Freeman, and he took a shot as he went across the field from Kenny White, and he is still down. Abe Infante, you see him sprinting out on the field to check on his junior wide receiver, who went up in the air to try to make the catch, could not reach high enough to get it. And oncoming defender Kenny White makes contact with him while he was in the air.
Hopefully he just got the wind knocked out. You know, it looked like it went helmet to chest. Kenny White looks like he's hurt a little bit too there.
Kenny White, who played last year at West Allegheny, now playing at Pine Richland and sharing time in the defense in the offensive backfield with Crawford, and obviously part of the defensive backfield with Crawford as well. And Freeman is able, at least at this point in time, sit up on the field.
Freeman's an important part of this offense too. Losing him now, he doesn't have a lot of great numbers as far as catching the ball down the field, but on that long run by Burrell to start the drive off, he had a great block down here. He's a big kid, he's physical, he's 6'1", close to 200 pounds. They need him out there on the edge to block people. And if they lose him, again, now you're going to put somebody maybe not quite as big in there. You look at a guy like James Cherry, who's 5'7", 160. There's a big difference in body types there. And again, that block, I mean, he pancaked the cornerback a couple plays ago when Burrell came around the corner.
So he comes off the field. We'll see if Kenny White comes off the field as well for Pine Richland defensively. No, he's going to stay out there, back in his free safety spot on 3rd down and 8 now for the Hawks at the Ram 34-yard line. 7-0 Pine Richland. Burrell stays in there at the tailback. Sidecar to his right. Mason is actually a slot right receiver. Rightly is the split receiver on the right side. Cherry is slot left, and Brandon Sanders is split left. 3rd and 8. It's Burrell on the handoff. Burrell trying to get free and cannot do so. Still taking tacklers with him, however. Great 2nd and 3rd effort by Colby Burrell, and he's awful close to picking up the 1st down. He's going to put him in about a 4th and 2, and he did a lot of that on his own.
Yeah, that was a great run. He runs through big Andrew Christofix right there, and he's pushing. And what happened, too, is his O-line. Look, that's a new rule, right? The O-line can push now. They can't pull you, but they can push you forward. And so a lot of O-line coaches right there teaching their guys, same idea, run to the football. But when you get there, you push your guy. You push your running back. You push your quarterback as far as you can. And now when you're trying to tackle that, that becomes tackling 1,000 pounds instead of, 185 pounds.
Different formation here on 4th and 2. They're still going to hand it off to Burrell, who's lined up very deep in the backfield. They do hand it off to him. The ball came loose as he got enough for a 1st down. If the Hawks recover it, they'll get the 1st down, keeping the football, and they will. So Burrell picks up the 1st down. The ball came loose, but he was down before that happened. The Hawks will keep the football, and they've got it now at the 25-yard line. We'll see if it comes out here before he's on the ground. The knee's on the ground, and the ball comes loose.
That's a good, tough run right there. They needed that. So again, look, keep running the football. Ball security, run the ball, run hard, be physical. That's how they're going to win this football game.
They needed 2. They got 3. McCray wants to throw, and he's got a receiver. It's Lenahan. Had it for a moment. The ball's loose, and they'll say it's incomplete. Got it to his tight end. Lenahan lined up off the right side line of scrimmage and just kind of snuck him off the line of scrimmage. McCray hit him, but Lenahan could not hold on.
And the reason Lenahan was wide open there is because of the play-action fake. And what it does is it draws the safety up, it draws that outside linebacker up, and you've got Lenahan running right down the seam. Now he's got to catch that thing and hold on to it. Kenny White's definitely making his presence felt out there right now.
He sure did. He had the pop that jarred it loose. They go back to Marcus Mason on the handoff. He'll pick up a couple. Give him to the 23. It puts the Hawks in a 3rd and 8. Mason and Burrell's numbers coming in were pretty close to one another. You see what Mason did, 677 yards. Burrell was at a 720 coming into the year. But it's been Burrell who's been far more effective as the back so far in this first half. He's back there as the tailback now as Mason shifts into a wide receiver spot. Slot to the left on 3rd and 8. Gray looks left, now looks right, now flushed out of the pocket, and is just going to throw this one away. 3 Pine Richland Rams were in his face. And leading the charge was Tyler King along with Tommy Camino. And McCray had no choice but to get rid of the football.
Yeah, they brought Tyler King off the edge there. Tommy Camino ripped underneath.
St. Joe's prep. 4th down.
Sideline warning is the call, so there's no flag, no walk-off on the play, just a warning for the Hawks sideline. 4th down and 8 now for St. Joe's prep. And again, the line of scrimmage is the Pine Richland 23-yard line. Again, McCray has 3 to his left and his tailback there as well. He's got time. Now he's flushed out. He's got room to run. Burrell has the 20. He has the 15. He has the first down. Hurdles a tackle to the 10, to the 5, and out of bounds. Marquez McCray with the first down run and puts them in a 1st and goal.
That was a great job right there by McCray. Just he looked out there, he kind of surveyed the scene and saw everybody was packed in and covered up, and he gets around out on the edge. And when you're playing man-to-man coverage, all of a sudden you've got scramble drill going. And as a defensive back or a linebacker, you're taught to stay with your man. You don't have eyes on the quarterback, and McCray made him pay there.
Yeah, but what you don't see at home on your television screen is that's a 220-pound young man running at you, too. So you got to make sure you hit him hard and wrap him up. Here's the delayed handoff and a great big hole to run through, and easily getting into the end zone for the touchdown is Marcus Mason, and the Hawks are an extra point away from tying the football game.
Run the football. Play great defense, you win championships. And look, that's what they did there on that drive. They picked it up, they threw it once or twice. You're going to see it's just a power play inside. They do a great job, and nobody touches Mason until he hits the snow.
8 minutes, 5 seconds left to go in the first half. And again, on for the extra point comes Anthony Tagano, their senior kicker. Brandon Sanders is the holder. Jake Goss is the snapper. The snap is good. The hold is down. And we are even. 8 minutes, 5 seconds left to go in the half. 7-7 is our score. Pine Richland scored fast. St. Joe's Prep took a little bit longer, but they do what they have to do, and they tie the score up at 7-7. So we'll see now how the Rams respond to giving up the first score.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see kind of as the chess match continues here, right? And it's been fun to watch. You know, Coach Infante said they've got to give Jerkovic a bunch of different looks, right? You've got to you can't just sit in one coverage. You can't sit in one front. You got to show them different things, and they've done a pretty good job of doing that so far. At some point, you know, those chess matches catch up. So the Rams now need to adjust, figure out what they need to do on their side of the ball, and then you know, move the ball downfield. These guys can score fast. Again, neither of these guys are going to blink right now. This is just a football game, and they're going at it. 2 heavyweights throwing punches.
Yeah, and Gabe Infante found out his team can score points last week, and that shootout against Coatesville, 53-49 was the score. Again, they're a team that is known for what they can do defensively. They held that Pittsburgh Central Catholic juggernaut last year to just 7 points, and they dominated that football game in the second half without a doubt. Pine Richland, we know about their offensive abilities as they're going to call for the fair catch here on the short kickoff. Ben Yoakum calls for the fair catch. But the interesting part of all of that is, again, as we said in the open, defense wins championships. It's important to Gabe Infante. It was important enough to Eric Kasparovich. He made himself his own defensive coordinator this year. He said, look, you know what? We need to be better on defense. And he switched from a 3-4 to a 4-3, and they've been better defensively.
Yeah, they're a very good defensive football team. That's one thing, you know, when you've got stars on the other side of the ball like Crawford, DeFrancis, Jerkovic, you know, you don't talk about the defense a whole lot. But these guys can play D, and again, it's going to come down to, can they play physical enough to stop this Hawks running attack? And that's where they struggled on that last drive, and that wears on you after a while.
Just to give you numbers to support what Kasparovich is thinking, last year they gave up 30 points per game. This year they gave up 12. So obviously he might even be able to give himself a pat in the back. I don't know if he can give himself a raise or not. That's out of my pay grade. But nonetheless, he obviously got the job done as they give this one to Crawford, and Crawford runs for what appears to be another first down as he runs out of bounds. And again, Pine Richland playing some hurry-up football as he runs from the 34 to the 44 and gains the 10 they need. First and 10 for the Rams at the 44. Pine Richland's playing faster than the chain gang can move.
It's that tempo, right? You get the first down, all of a sudden, let's get on the ball, let's do it again, let's keep the defense on their toes, keep them guessing.
3 receivers to his right, 2 to his left. He throws right, and St. Joe's Prep is all over the pass. They throw to DeFrancis, and St. Joe's Prep knew what was coming, and they make the play defensively. It was Devin Dickerson.
Yeah, Dickerson does a great job. He sees DeFrancis step back away from the line of scrimmage and turn his shoulders to the quarterback, and he immediately started driving on that ball, was there. Perfect timing, great tackle.
So DeFrancis makes the catch, loses 3, however, on the play. Play action fake. They go back looking for a little inside screen here. They've got Kristofic all the way out there to try to set a block, but it doesn't matter. The Hawks are still all over it, and they drop him back at the 40. That's another loss on a play of another yard.
That was big Paul Hess out there, number 52, 5'10", 250-pound senior. Not often a D tackle runs out there and makes a play on a wide receiver screen.
So it's now 3rd down and 12. St. Joe's Prep trying to get the defensive adjustments onto the field. Stofic working out of the empty backfield on 3rd and 12 back at his own 40. Coming this way to DeFrancis this time. DeFrancis needs, and he actually went down. He was not able to hold it. DeFrancis juggled it for a moment, trying to look to see where the defense was coming, and could not hold on to the football. It's an incomplete pass. It's 4th down.
Yeah, that ball came out a little low. I'm sure that was not where that was meant to be, and DeFrancis had to go down and get it, but it took a little short hop right in front of him.
So the Rams will punt, and it's James Cherry who's back as a return man. He had the long punt return, an 89-yard punt return, but there was a block in the back that changed our hold on that, took the points off the board. And he will not have an opportunity here, as this one will roll to a stop at around the 30-yard line. So now there's 6 minutes and 41 seconds left to go in the first half. The score is even. Pine Richland 7, St. Joe's Prep 7 when we come back to Hershey Park Stadium.
Pennsylvania's top high school wrestlers take to the mat on PCN's Match of the Week. Follow the weekly matches and tournaments leading up to the PIAA Team and Individual Wrestling Championships exclusively on PCN and the PCN Select app. Join us this January. Go to PCNTV.com for the schedule and more details on PCN Sports.
You know what those horses do after they pull that tremendous weight all the way to the end of the arena? They pull it all the way back to the other end.
Is this some kind of metaphor for being governor?
Maybe.
The Pennsylvania Farm Show, January 6th through the 12th on PCN.
St. Joe's Prep defense stopped the dynamic quarterback Phil Jerkovic from Pine Richland. We asked Gabe Infante before the game about trying to do just that.
Well, it's tough to do. I mean, we're going to have to mix and match coverage. We're going to have to try and see how many guys it takes to actually put pressure on him. We're going to have to do many different things, I think. I don't think one recipe or one formula is going to work against him. He's a very talented young man. He's surrounded by a very capable and talented cast of players. You know, so we're just going to have to adapt. It'll be a good chess match. They're a well-coached team. They do a lot of good things. So, you know, I don't think one thing in particular is going to be enough to stop him. We're going to have to just adjust as the game goes on.
So far, so good. 6 out of 8 for just 17 yards for Jerkovic, and 3 of those last 6 have actually lost yardage. Credit to the Hawks defense. So it's their offense now that takes over on 1st and 10 at the 30. Marquez wants to keep it on the run. Marquez McCray, that is, the quarterback, fakes the option toss to Marcus Mason and keeps it himself and gains nothing. So McCray with his 8th carry picked up just 8 yards. There's Eric Kasparovich. He's working the defense on his side now on 2nd and 10. Here's Mason, again trying to find some daylight against the Pine Richland defense and not happening. Bunch of tacklers in there and led by Tyler King, who's been very active on both sides of the football for Pine Richland.
So got a flag on the play there. Out the end is Johnny Freeman out there blocking. Took somebody all the way down the field there.
Again, Freeman was shaken.
Of the play. Personal foul, late hit. Defense, 15-yard penalty. From the end of the run, 1st and 10.
I see the penalty against Pine Richland, so that's going to give the Hawks the automatic first down on the personal foul penalty. So a huge mistake there for Pine Richland. They had him backed into a 3rd and 10. Instead, it's 1st and 10 on the penalty and the personal foul penalty, and now the line of scrimmage is out across the 45, call it the 46 as they walk off 15 yards. 6 minutes remaining in the first half. 7-7 is our score in the 6A championship. Cooper Kim is in there as the fullback out of the pistol set. McCray looking for the home run, looking for Freeman. Stride for stride was Jordan Crawford defensively, and the pass is incomplete.
It's good to see Johnny Freeman back out there. He took a serious shot. He's doing a great job, and he's the one that kind of drew that personal foul penalty against Falcone there with his blocking. Good coverage there, ran downfield. McCray definitely put a little bit more on that one than he wanted to.
He's now 1 for 9 throwing the football. 2nd and 10 now as a result for the Hawks from their own 46-yard line. Going to throw for it again. This one he'll have the completion to Sanders. Sanders tries to fight out of a tackle and is finally run out of bounds by Burns. Cross midfield. And at the 48-yard line is where they'll spot the football. That's a gain of 6, and it brings up 3rd and 4.
So you see Sanders will drive. He'll sit up here, little screen pass, gets off, puts his hands up in the face. There's a little face mask right there, too.
Yeah. And it's going to be against Pine Richland. I'm pulling on the face mask, and so that's going to give St. Joe's Prep another first down.
Incidental face mask, 5 yards. Against the defense. The result will be 1st and 10.
Jim Haney is correct because they were in a 3rd and 4, but that 5 yards gives them the first down. So the 2nd time in a row now that St. Joe's Prep has picked up the first down in this drive by way of penalty. One on the personal foul and this one on the face mask. And now 1st and 10 at the 43, 42 really to be more precise for the Hawks, excuse me, at the Rams 42. Burrell back in there as the tailback behind McCray. He'll get the handoff, trying to run left edge, and the ball is on the ground again. Pine Richland will recover it. It's Kenny White on the fumble recovery for Pine Richland. Burrell got to about the 35, and the ball squirted loose, and Kenny White was right there to pick it up before it went out of bounds. Here it is.
Yeah, but see that thing, somebody's going to rip this thing out. Anthony Sermonero, yeah, sorry, I'll get that right there. It's a little chilly up here. Does a great job. Kenny White does a good job finding that football and falling on it. That's a huge play, huge stop. Things were kind of going the other way right there for the Rams. You know, a couple penalties, a couple bad plays. You know, get your offense back on the field. Let the big fella do some work with the ball in his hand here. Let's see what Jerkovic can do.
From the 34-yard line, still 5 minutes and 39 seconds remaining, and collision in the backfield. They wanted to hand it off to Kenny White. White, Jerkovic, and defender all run into one another right at the same time, and the defender in there to disturb the play is Jake Fury.
That's a great job by Fury.
He tackled 2 guys on one play.
It's called attacking the mesh point right there.
And as a result of that, they're going to lose yardage all the way back to the 26, puts them in a 2nd and 18. And Jerkovic is in trouble again, but he dumps it off at the last second. The ball is dropped by Kenny White. That might not have been a bad thing.
Yeah, he had bodies coming at him right there. Cobal was coming. That's a great job by Wallace. He was on top of Jerkovic real quick.
So a lot of pressure lately for St. Joe's Prep. They're getting in the backfield, they're disrupting things, at least disrupting the timing of the offense for Pine Richland, and certainly not giving Jerkovic a whole lot of time to work with.
Yeah, you heard Coach Infante talk about that, giving him different looks.
3rd and 18. Again, they flush him out of the pocket. He finds some space. He finds a receiver. The pass is caught, and it's good for a first down. Ray Falcone out at midfield, a gain of 24.
That's a great job by Jerkovic right there. He had a little pressure in his face. Wallace came underneath, went into the B gap underneath the tackle and pushed him out, but he rolled him out to the right, got the ball downfield.
Looking for more is Jerkovic. Looks off the one receiver and finds another. Paying for the price is Falcone. Heavy hit that time by Dewan Dandridge, but he holds on at the 36-yard line, excuse me, at the 31-yard line.
That's a great job by Falcone to hold on to that football. Look, you know you're going to take a shot. You know it's coming. Just catch the ball. He does it, pops up. That's exactly what you want to do as a wide receiver.
Goes for a 19-yard first down pickup. Here's Crawford trying to turn the right edge. Well played defensively by St. Joe's Prep. And coming up to make that play is, again, Rashad Wallace. Here's that play, and watch the catch and watch the hit to Ray Falcone.
Look at that ball, man. That is a rope right there. And he puts it right on Falcone, and then Dandridge comes and puts it right on Falcone, too.
It's second down now coming up. They go back to Crawford. And Crawford will take this one inside the 25-yard line, put him at about the 24. It's going to bring up third down, and we'll call it 3 right now for Pine Richland.
I like it. The Rams are moving. They're moving the ball. They're playing aggressive with some tempo here. They're mixing it up, run, pass, run, pass. This is all good. This is what they need to do. They need to keep St. Joe's defense on their toes and out of sorts.
They're going to run the option here with Crawford, and again, it's Wallace who makes the play. What a brilliant play defensively again by Rashad Wallace.
Kid's got a great motor. He's all over the place, man. They ran the option right at him. Jerkovic brings the ball down the line, right at him, right at him. There he is. See how he keeps his shoulders square there? He stays nice and square. He's able to play both sides of the field there, and he's able to get out there on Crawford and make the tackle.
Puts Pine Richland now in a 4th down spot, 4th and 3. Jerkovic looking for the quick slant, and great play by Yoakum. Makes a man miss. Takes it all the way down inside the 15, down to about the 12-yard line. First down pickup.
That's a great throw right there, Jerkovic. He put that ball right where Yoakum could catch it, in stride, didn't have to stop, got right across the first down marker, keep the chains moving. That was a big 4th down right there.
That was on the 9th play of this drive, or this is the 9th play of the drive, and it's 1st and 10. Looking for the lob over the top, this time looking for Falcone. Well played defensively that time by Devin Dickerson, just slapped it out of his hands.
Yeah, Dickerson was right in Falcone's hip pocket right there. That was a really nice play. Got his eyes back to the quarterback pretty quick, was able to punch that ball out.
Now 3:05, and here it is. Falcone is there, but again, Dandridge with that hand there. The ball actually comes up and hits Falcone in the face mask. So it's now 2nd down for Pine Richland. 2nd and 10, of course, from the 12-yard line. Falcone is split to the right. Crawford is slot right. It's Goltz, DeFrancis, and Yoakum left to right on the left side of the line of scrimmage. Jerkovic has time, runs out of time, trying to gives himself some more time, spins away from the tackle, finds a receiver, the ball is knocked away. Good play by DeJulius to knock it away, incomplete in the end zone. And it was Damon Goltz who was the intended, or Dawson Goltz, excuse me, who was the intended target. They'll bring up 3rd down.
They're not letting Jerkovic sit in the pocket and be comfortable. Looks like we got a flag out there too. They're hard to see in that white field.
They're going to check with Gabe Infante because this one he's going to be against Pine Richland in the spot of the field, and based on what he did, you got to figure this one's got to be a hold.
Yeah, when the quarterback starts running around like that, offensive lineman, you get the block in the back, you get the hold, it just puts him in a tough spot.
Ineligible lineman downfield during the pass. Penalty is declined. 3rd down.
That's the other one that can happen
when you start buying. Exactly right.
When you start buying time, guys start getting antsy.
Yep, and you don't know if the quarterback's going to run, and as an O-lineman, all of a sudden, if my QB is going to run downfield, I need to go down and block, and it looked like, and he can run. It's not like the guy doesn't have wheels and gets downfield. I mean, he's got over 1,000 yards rushing too, so you know what happens. And as an O-lineman, you're going to run down the field, and next thing you know, he throws the football on you.
So the Hawks decline the penalty, taking it down instead to make it 3rd down. Jerkovic steps up, looks for a receiver, and it's over his head and intercepted. Right into the hands of a defender, and on the interception is linebacker Phil O'Connor. So the first turnover of the game for the Pine Richland Rams is an interception, just the 6th of the season, thrown by Jerkovic.
Jerkovic's going to sit in the pocket, he runs up the pocket, and look at Rashad Wallace was right on top of him again, made him rush the throw. Throws it right into Phil O'Connor's stomach. It's a huge stop right there, because that was a great drive by the Rams. Great drive.
You see Phil O'Connor, he wears uniform number 10, and Gabe Infante awards that uniform number each and every season to his defensive team leader. And it's Phil O'Connor who gets that this year. And every one of the players who's worn that uniform under Gabe Infante has been voted first team Philadelphia Catholic League. And Phil O'Connor is no exception to the rule from 2017. And he comes up with a big interception there, denies the scoring opportunity for Pine Richland. Can the Hawks, with 2.5 minutes left to go in the half, take advantage? They still have 2 timeouts left and 2 minutes and 35 seconds to work with as they start this drive from their own 28. They actually lose a yard on that one. It's now 2nd and call it 11, back at the 17-yard line. Marcus Mason is the tailback beside Marquez McCray. Cherry goes in motion from left side to right. And now they're going to throw back against the grain. The Sanders breaks 1 tackle, breaks a 2nd, trying to break a 3rd, and cannot. Good job of keeping a hold of the shoe top and not letting go. That was Mike Kadick, who had him by the ankle and wouldn't let him go. There is a Ram down on the play, but eventually they wrap up Sanders after he picks up a couple.
That was a great individual effort by Sanders right there. I mean, he got tackled about 3 or 4 times and he just wouldn't quite go down. I was sure that play was dead for rights as soon as he caught the ball. He had a defender right on top of him.
That's Dawson Goltz, another 2-way player for Pine Richland, who's shaken up and again gets up, walks off the field in his own power. Looks like hand in the rib cage area or the hip, somewhere in that neck of the woods. So Sanders ends up picking up 4, and he did a lot of that work on his own just to get the 4.
Yeah, Goltz did a great job. He drove on the play, but I think it was Nick DiPrinzio, the left tackle, who ends up out there. It was a little bit of a tunnel screen, throwback tunnel screen. DiPrinzio went out there, and I think he might have caught Goltz in the side.
3rd and 7 is the result. Sanders goes in motion this time from left side to right. McCray will roll that way. Well, really, not much places to go, and he will not go down, and it's Kristofic who gets him. Andrew Kristofic wraps him up right around the line of scrimmage, and that'll bring up a quick 3 plays and now a punt coming up for St. Joe's Prep. But before that happens, Pine Richland will call a timeout. So Eric Kasparovich is now thinking about getting the football back, and of course it helps when you got a quarterback like Phil Jerkovic to go to work with, but they've got about 1.5 minutes left to go. And before Pine Richland gets the football back, Steve Degler has what we think is a kind of important guest.
Yeah, you could say that, Bob. Bob Lombardi, the executive director of the PIAA, joining me here on the sideline. It's your 2nd year with 6 classifications. How's the transition been going?
Oh, it's awesome. It's great. More opportunities for schools to get in postseason. They love it. It's super.
I know you can't please everybody all the time, but as you mentioned, giving kids a chance to play for more titles has to be a really big thing for you guys.
Oh, the schools have told us it starts at the district level and it just expands, and they're really, really thrilled to have the opportunity to do it either on the field, the court, the mat, whatever.
I know you and your team are always looking to improve things around the state. What are you working on these days?
Oh, we have a few things we're working on. We've taken on some things with the transfer rule in our competition committee. You'll see some announcements coming out in the next few weeks.
How much fun is this weekend for you, even with the snow here today?
Oh, it's always fun. Come on. Championship events and high school athletics, it's the best.
Thanks for taking the time. Happy holidays to you and your staff.
Thank you very much. We'll send you a card.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Bob. It's a great card, too, by the way.
Just make sure it doesn't come postage due. Just going to throw that out there. Great punt return here from Pine Richland, but again, the ball comes loose. The Rams say they have it. Let's see if it holds itself out. And at the bottom of the pile coming away with is Tyler King. Boy, number 8 in green and white's been very active today.
Yeah, he's around the football all the time. Let's see what happens here. He grabs this thing on the run, man. That's kind of scary right there. Look at this big shot right here. Cuts back into traffic. Oh, the ground caused that one anyways when he went down and hit the
Yeah, it was Luke Meckler on the return, and you are right. He did hit the ground and it popped it loose. But Pine Richland now has the football in great field position. 1st and 10 at the 25-yard line of St. Joe's Prep. And 1:20 to work with your all-state quarterback at the helm. He's going to run with it. And he gets bounced around a little bit, but again, big body to run with, and he picks up about 4 or 5.
Yeah, keeps the defense on their toes. Jerkovic's a big football player, 6'5", 220, going straight ahead, get 4 or 5 yards, loosen the defense up on the inside, bring the defense inside. They had a quad set there. They had 4 receivers to the left, so everybody's out of the box, and you get your big guy running up the middle.
He wants to throw for it now. He's going to throw this one, but he misfires. He was looking for Crawford, who was lined up in the right slot, but Djokovic threw that one right into the dirt. And so it's now 3rd and 6.
Yeah, Djokovic knew it. He had Crawford out there on the swing route against a linebacker, Brad Coball, which, again, you know, this St. Joe's defense is really athletic, but that's a matchup I'll take every day. Crawford against a linebacker is a no-brainer.
A lot of people thought this one could be a shootout and an offensive shootout. It's kind of a defensive shootout right now. It's 7-7 with 50 seconds left to go in the first half. 3rd down and 6 for Pine Richland at the 21. Again, Djokovic on the read option will take it himself inside the 20 and down to the 17-yard line, a pickup of 4. That's going to make it 4th and 2.
The same play. Djokovic runs up the middle. Rashad Wallace is right there to meet him. And Wallace has been really active. This is a bit, like I said, it's a defensive game. There's been a lot of great offensive plays, but as they've gotten closer to the end zone, for one reason or another, whether it's an interception or a fumble or a drop pass, they haven't been able to punch it in. But again, there's been some great defense played tonight too.
And so now a timeout is called by Pine Richland. The Rams and their head coach, Eric Kasparovich, are out of timeouts. And so with 40 seconds left to go, Pine Richland is in a 4th and 2 at the 17. So there's no real cause at this point in time, if you're Pine Richland, just hold on to that timeout. Djokovic is now 0 for 4 on his last 4 attempts, including that interception by Phil O'Connor that stopped the last drive where they seemed to be in great field position. So as Brandon's alluding to, a lot of give a little, but ultimately come up with a stop. We've seen some plays, a fumble into the end zone for Pine Richland to recover for the touchback, and then that interception by O'Connor inside the 5-yard line. So some drives that came to a stop because of the defense, and now Pine Richland is in a 4th and 2 at the Prep 17-yard line. King is back out there as the blocker in the right wing. Crawford in the right slot, Falcone split right, and now St. Joe's Prep is going to call the timeout as the Hawks will burn their second timeout. Gabe Infante waits, kind of sees what Pine Richland's going to come out in, and then he calls the timeout. Check in with a little bit more from Steve Degler during another timeout.
All right, Bob, thank you very much. We spend most of our time talking about the 2 squads in the field that wear the shoulder pads and the helmets, but there's a 3rd team that's earned its way to Hershey too, and that's the officiating crew out of District 11. The referee tonight, Jim Haney, has been an official, especially in college basketball, for more than 30 years. He has done several NIT finals. He's been to the NCAA Sweet 16 round 3 times in his career. Here's a guy who has had 2 knee replacements, quadruple bypass, did a lot of games in the Big East and the ACC, and now he has a new job. He has been hired by the NCAA as the coordinator, the national coordinator of officials for NCAA Division III men's basketball. He'll do a lot of evaluating, trying to get guys onto the Division II and the Division I level. He's already planned out his schedule for the next couple of weeks. He's heading to Florida to watch a couple of Division III tournaments to check out the referees. Bob?
You can't find a more jovial guy, great guy to talk to at any time, and it's a great honor for these officials to get the call that gives them the state championship as well. Djokovic on the quarterback keeper. Djokovic breaks a tackle to the 5, touchdown, Pine Richland. Phil Djokovic taking matters into his own hands, goes 17 yards, touchdown. The Rams are back up on top.
That's a good job. They're going to run a little speed option right down the line. You see Rashad Wallace. He goes outside with the back. He has the pitch responsibility. Djokovic sees that, and he cuts it right up. Whoever had the quarterback on that play didn't show up. It's usually the inside backer if the defensive end's on the pitch. It's a great job. Put the ball in the hands of your best football player and let him win a game for you.
So the defense comes up with the stop. They get the short field after the punt return by Meckler, and Pine Richland cashes it in. 35 seconds now left to go in the first half. And on for the extra point comes Vito Orsini, and that extra point is good. So with 35 seconds left to go in the half, it's now Pine Richland 14, St. Joe's Prep 7. And again, the Prep Hawks did call a timeout in that last moment. So scoreboard says they still have 2 timeouts left, but I'm not sure. I think they only have 1 timeout left. So we'll see if they would not maybe have had that timeout, like to have that timeout left with still 35 seconds left to work with. I think a lot of that's going to depend on the kickoff return. I think if you're St. Joe's Prep and you get a good return, you might want to try to attack it. If not, you might want to take your chances in half number 2.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the Rams do here with the kickoff. You know, a lot of teams in this situation will squib it. They'll pooch it up in the air, try and get a fair catch by one of the upbacks.
St. Joe's Prep will get the football to start the 3rd quarter, so you can kind of add that into your strategy, perhaps, if you're Gabe Infante. Pennsylvania Farm Show, January 6th through January 12th, right here on PCN and on the PCN Select app. Watch events like the Rabbit Hop, Sheep to Shaw, High School Rodeo, and more. Visit PCNTV.com for more details. So the Rams will kick off. And again, they have two men back there to return in both James Cherry and Marcus Mason. Mason is nearest to your television screen, and Cherry is to the far side. I'm not going to kick it in the direction of either of them. They'll kick it high and short. And a collision between the up man and the deep man. Cherry, the deep man. The up man was Johnny Freeman. They knock each other out of bounds. And so that's where St. Joe's Prep has it at their own 25-yard line. 35 seconds left to go in the half.
That's one of those situations as a coach where you get real nervous when you see that guy backing up. It's one thing that you're taught, you know, when you're one of those up backs, you're taught to not go backwards and catch the ball, right? So when you see Johnny Freeman backing up like that with his eyes up in the air, you know he's going for the ball. Now your return man is running up, and he's the one that's supposed to catch it. They run into each other. That can go south real quick.
You know that because you were a lot of times back there as a return man, correct?
I was the wedge captain. They didn't want me. They wanted me running into things, and I was not catching the ball.
1st and 10 at the 25-yard line. They will keep it on the ground, and it's Burrell, I believe, who gets the call. And he'll get maybe a couple, and that's it. I don't think that St. Joe's Prep will bother to call the timeout, and they'll let the clock run down. And if so, they will not bother to get the. It was Mason who did get the call, and we'll see if St. Joe's Prep even bothers to take a snap. They do not have to if they choose not to. Clock is inside of 10 seconds, and it looks like that's the case. They're going to let the clock run down and head to the locker room. And Pine Richland looking for their first ever state championship. They've been here twice before. They came away with silver. St. Joe's Prep's been here 3 times before. They came away with gold every time. We're going to find out what happens in the second half. But right now, it's Pine Richland who will head to the locker room on top. The score, the Rams 14, St. Joe's Prep 7. 2 Phil Jerkovic touchdown runs. That's what's on the board for Pine Richland. Marcus Mason with a 5-yard touchdown run for St. Joe's Prep for the Hawks only score. Again, Pine Richland struck fast with that big kickoff return for Jordan Crawford to set it up. Steve Degler right now catches up with Eric Kasparovich.
All right, Bob, thank you very much. Everybody talks about Phil and the great arm that he has. How about those legs? They're pretty valuable as well, that run before the half.
Yeah, Phil's an incredible athlete. You know, he can hurt you with his arm or his legs. You know, it's a good first half. That's a heavyweight battle there. They play. That's a good football team over there.
How pleased are you with the way your defense has played through 24 minutes?
Pretty happy. You know, that long run there that in the first quarter, I think we got some things shored up. They get the kick, so we got to come out and make a big stop to open the third quarter and get the ball in our offense's hands. I think we're getting some things going there.
Thanks for the time. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you very much.
Bob, back up to you.
All right, very good. Thank you very much. We'll see how it all plays itself out. We'll take a timeout when we come back. Mike Zambelli, Jim Wills, and the highlights of our first half. The first half belongs to Pine Richland. They lead St. Joe's Prep 14-7 live on PCN from Hershey Park Stadium.
Nike reminds you that no matter what you've accomplished, your biggest competition is yourself. Your work is never finished. Nike is proud to support the PIAA Football Championships.
I would recommend becoming an official because you can feel like you're a part of a sport that you love.
We officiate for the athletes and for the sport that we love, and so as long as you keep them first, then it's going to be a great experience.
So the money I've made from officiating for the past few years, I've put all that money into savings to pay to finish my college education. In 6 months, when I complete that, I will not be in any debt.
Officiating the state championship and getting that call to officiate the state championship was an emotional thing for me, just because of what I've been through, you know, the ups and downs, and getting that call really meant a lot to me. Sometimes I see student athletes that I officiated years and years and years ago, and they say, "Man, you did a great job. Thanks for everything you've done."
The PIAA Competitive Spirit Championships, January 20th, live on the PCN Select app. Watch again February 10th on PCN and on demand with the PCN Select app. Catch championship action on PCN.
Secretary Redding, check this out.
What?
You can watch PCN's coverage of the farm show right here on your phone.
You know you're at the farm show.
Yeah, I know, but when you're here, it's hard to see everything in person. And the best part?
Yeah?
The whole farm show fits right in your pocket.
Did you just come up with that?
Marketing told me to say that.
The Pennsylvania Farm Show, January 6th through the 12th on PCN.
Arlen Specter was a prominent public figure in Pennsylvania and on a national scale. From the Philadelphia District Attorney's Office to the Warren Commission and the United States Senate, Specter was a lightning rod on social issues and a man of principle in public service. Now, PCN brings you a direct account of his life and accomplishments in a new book, Arlen Specter, An Oral History. Go to PCNstore.com to order your copy today.
The final football game of the high school season here in the state of Pennsylvania, the battle of the big schools. Pine Richland in search of state championship number 1 with a 14-7 advantage over St. Joe's Prep. The Hawks have never been beaten in a PIAA tournament game. Welcome to our halftime. Mike Zambelli joined by Jim Wills. Jim, everything you would expect from big schools in the state of Pennsylvania. Hard-hitting, physical football game and a 7-point advantage at half.
No question about it, Mike. This is an absolutely great football game. It's really fun to watch, especially if you like defense. They have 2 great defenses on each side, and that's the thing that's really tremendous about this game. They're hard-hitting.
Obviously, some elements involved in this game. Thought both teams, for the most part, handled the little snow cover that's on the field with great execution in the first half.
Yeah, they did. I think a little bit harder for the receivers than it is for the guys throwing the football. The guys throwing the football have been throwing some darts, especially on the Pine Richland side. You've seen those. But the thing of it is, the receivers have a little bit of a hard time. Second half will be something they'll have to deal with there.
Yeah, throwing the football in this weather has not been a problem. Catching it sometimes can be a little bit of a concern. Take a look at our 6A bracket, and of course, as you heard from the executive director, Dr. Bob Lombardi, a little while ago, second year for the 6 classifications. And, you know, this just, I mean, you look up and down there and the great programs that are part of this, the Coatesvilles, the Pennsburys, Garnet Valleys, and the Parklands and Freedoms, and everybody. St. Joe's Prep getting past Northeast and then beating undefeated Parkland, the District 11 champion, in the round of 8, and then getting past Coatesville in a shootout last week to advance. And for Pine Richland, Pittsburgh Central Catholic, what a pedigree they have in this state tournament. State College the same. Pine Richland was the winner in that one there as well. Manheim Township has had greatness in this tournament, you know, to reach this championship game. It's just a wonderful tournament there, and just, you know, to survive and be in this environment is just a great honor and a great accomplishment for both these teams. Here's Pine Richland's schedule, Jim, and you look at starting out with a shutout win over Wayne, then beating Mount Lebanon, Seneca Valley, Penn Hills, Bethel Park, 54-20, Pittsburgh Central Catholic, they'd meet them again, Peters Township, Shaler area, Butler, North Allegheny, a great name. They'd have to beat them twice. As you can see, they got into the playoff and, of course, advancing with that win against Manheim Township.
And you look at that, Mike, the offense hasn't been held under 42 points all season long. And it's just been a great, great season for them. Beating Central Catholic twice, obviously a big feather in their cap when you look at their schedule.
Whitfield Class 6A Northern 7 is their official division, and undefeated there. Pittsburgh Central Catholic, a part of that. North Allegheny, Penn Hills, Seneca Valley, Butler, and Shaler area, all part of the Whitfield 6A Northern 7. All right, you talked defense just a little bit ago, and so often we talk so much offense in these highlight shows. We're going to talk defense at this halftime, and I think justifiable. There's a couple of ways to get stops. One of them is to start, of course, to get them to punt the football and stop them on downs, but the other way is to force turnovers.
And there's been a lot of turnovers forced in this game, and we talked about interceptions going to be a possibility with the way the ball's been thrown around a lot of the time, but the defensive pack starts out with Pine Richland. They have done a great job of bottling up that running attack of St. Joe's Prep. You can see, and this was a big hit coming up here. This is going to cause a turnover. This is another touchdown that was a possibility for St. Joe's Prep. They had a couple possibilities in this first half and had them taken away by big hits on defense. There they do a good job on McCray, the quarterback. And then another rip, a strip right there of the football right there. That was a great job there by number 34, Anthony Saramera. That's the thing that they do well, and that's the thing that you're going to see on both sides of the ball here tonight.
McCray, as the guys have talked about, about. Looks like a tight end back there when he starts trying to run that football. We will take a look at St. Joe's Prep side of things when we return. 14-7 Pine Richland in a great championship game here for the 6A title in the state of Pennsylvania.
What can you do with 2 bacon, egg, and cheese sandwiches for $5 from Dunkin'? Settle a debt, make a friend, save the day, or keep them both for this handsome devil. With 2 bacon, egg, and cheese sandwiches for $5, the future is in your hands. America runs on Dunkin'.
Dunkin' has lots of fall favorites to root for. Maple pecan, pumpkin, maple sugar bacon. But on game day, we root for one team. One team, baby. Win the fall, folks.
It's interactive ice cream fun at the Turkey Hill Experience, located in Columbia, PA, just south of Hershey. Create your own virtual ice cream flavor and packaging, milk our mechanical cows, and star in your own Turkey Hill commercial. Visit turkeyhillexperience.com for more information.
Pennsylvania's 956 boroughs each offer something unique to the Commonwealth. They are filled with culture, commerce, and history. Join PCN and the Pennsylvania State Association of Boroughs each month as we journey around the state in Exploring Pennsylvania Boroughs. Go to PCNTV.com for more details.
Your business could be in 3.3 million Pennsylvania homes. For sports sponsorships, contact Joel Bechtel at PCNTV.com.
Keep the game going with the PCN Select app. Subscribe now to watch this championship on demand or purchase digital downloads, Blu-rays, and DVDs of PCN Sports Championships. Go to PCNTV.com to purchase today. The PIAA Team Wrestling Championships, February 10th, live on PCN and live on demand with the PCN Select app. Catch championship action on PCN.
14-7 in frigid Hershey, Pennsylvania. Temperatures not getting out of the 20s here tonight. There's a pretty good wind and, of course, a snow-covered football field. What else would you want for a 6A state championship? We welcome back to St. Joe's Prep, Jim, in that first half. Missed opportunities. Fumble at the 1, fumble at about the 25-yard line, and a punt return for a touchdown called back because of a hold or a block in the back.
3 touchdowns left on that field, Mike. That's an awful lot, especially in a big championship game like this. They can overcome it, though. Last week they did a good job against Coatesville doing that down 16.
Yeah, trailed by 16. Let's take a look at their schedule, and it is a challenging schedule that Gabe Infante puts in front of these guys on a yearly basis. Jesuit, 22-7 winner. St. Peter's Prep, 28-21. Archbishop Wood, we saw them win a 5A title earlier this week. 27-7 victor there. Archbishop Carroll, Roman Catholic, Father Judge, LaSalle College High School, the first to win a state championship out of the Philadelphia Catholic League, 28-14 winner there. Archbishop Bryan, 42-6. Father Judge, LaSalle College again, 17-3. So tough to beat good programs twice in a year. Northeast, the Public League champion. Parkland, I mentioned earlier. And Coatesville, the District 1 winner, coming from 16 down to win in the semifinals. Here's a look at the Philadelphia Catholic League, and Jim, I mean, it's just awesome to be able to read those names and have them part of this state tournament since 2008.
Yeah, no question about it. As you see Wood there in LaSalle College, we saw them here a couple years ago winning that state championship. Yep. And they always have battles every year between Prep and LaSalle. Very, very tough. And obviously Wood coming here and winning all the state championships as well.
I think LaSalle and St. Joe's Prep have played 10 times over the last 5 years is what we were told earlier. All right, we talked defense with Pine Richland. We're going to talk defense now with the Hawks, and they have been great. I mean, other than last week, Coatesville, kind of got to them to open up that 16-point lead. But their defense again tonight is really making things uncomfortable for the Pine Richland offense.
It is. They've given them a lot of different looks. They've done a lot of different things to keep Jerkovic back there in that backfield. The blitz has been good. They've had guys come off the corner, especially from number 50 there, Jake Fearney. He's been doing a great job all season long. You see him come in here again. He's going to do a nice job of getting the first contact. Second contact will come from number 20 there, Rasheed Wallace, who has another great game. We've seen him, Mike, 2 weeks ago against Parkland, just dominate their offensive line. And you're going to see they get to the ball early. Wallace once again from the outside. Those are the kind of things that they get. You get a hand in there, that's going to cause that interception that took place right there. Phil O'Connor on the spot.
We heard Gabe Infante tell us during that interview there that he's going to play it by ear, see how many guys he needs to get pressure on the quarterback. You saw in that interception, he only needed 4. If that continues, they could be in good shape.
They could be in good shape, and that's what you want. You want, ideally, to only have to have 4, not to bring other people in.
Jim, quickly, you look at the matchup. St. Joe's Prep appears to be a little bit better built in terms of their rushing game to be successful on a game like this. How much does Pine Richland's running game factor into this second half?
Well, they're going to have to do some good things themselves. They're going to have to not rely on the football going through the air most of the time. They need the running game to go as well. But McCray, Burrell, and Mason for St. Joe's are going to be the ones that are going to have to guide them in the second half.
Great work, partner. For Jim Wills, I'm Mike Zambelli. We certainly hope you enjoyed our halftime coverage throughout all of the PIAA state championship games. Bob McCool, Brandon Nobles will take us home. Final half of the 2017 high school football season happening right now on PCN.
These days, life is busy, but amazing. From the sci-fi brilliance of technology to the existence of toast, we move at a crazy pace until this happens. Time for MedExpress. Walk right in, get the care you need, and get right back at it. MedExpress, because life is urgent.
Success in the classroom and on campus. Success in the local community. Success in the real world. Discover the infinite opportunities to become successful at one of the 14 universities in Pennsylvania's state system of higher education. Discover your future on Infinite Opportunities. Sundays at 9:30 a.m. on PCN.
PSAC, the Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference, is an NCAA Division II intercollegiate conference consisting of 18 Pennsylvania schools. And PCN is your place to watch the PSAC Wrestling Championships. The PSAC Wrestling Championships on PCN and on demand with PCN Select, December 15th at 7 p.m. Go to PCNTV.com for more details.
Usually when we promote the farm show here on PCN, we like to have fun. But today I thought I'd let Governor Tom...
What do you mean we usually have fun?
Yeah, like we're not fun?
Well, I figured you...
Hey, where do cows go for entertainment?
They go to the movies.
No, they go to the farm show. See what I did there?
The Pennsylvania Farm Show, January 6th through the 12th on PCN and the PCN Select app.
PIAA 6A football championship at halftime. It's the Pine Richland Rams 14 and the St. Joe Prep Hawks 7. Before we get rolling any further along, let's find out what the Hawks are going to do at halftime to make some adjustments with Steve Degler.
All right, Bob, with Coach Infante. Coach, obviously you left some points out there, made some mistakes, but you trailed last week. So will that help you from a mindset trying to come back here in the second half tonight?
Well, the only thing that's going to help us in the second half of tonight is correcting our mistakes. Last week was last week. This is really just about us getting back to the basics, the things that we do. and trusting in ourselves and trusting in what we do. So last week won't help us. What help us is making corrections on the mistakes in the first half.
Other than the touchdown you allowed late to put them in front, were you pleased with the way your defense played?
I'm never pleased with the way our defense plays. There's always room for improvement. That's a very good football team. Our effort from the first half is not going to be good enough for the second half, so we got to get better there also.
And finally, you ran the ball well in the first half. How do you get some more air attack involved?
Well, I think we just got to stay consistent, take what's there, and we got to make some catches. I thought we had some opportunities. We overthrew some guys. You know, we got to make the most of those opportunities.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
Bob, back up to you.
That's what makes a championship coach. He is, at this point in time, and he's still not happy with the way things are going, saying we could always be better.
Yeah, never satisfied. That's why they're so good. That's why they're playing for their 4th title. And
indeed, and how did all first half all unfolded? It started with the opening kickoff. Jordan Crawford, we said that special teams could be important, and it's turned out to be the case right out of the opening kickoff of the football game. Jordan Crawford on the return, gets it all the way down to the 31-yard line, and then a pass interference penalty sets up Pine Richland with an even shorter field, and Jurkovic puts the first points on the board with his legs.
Yeah, you couldn't have scripted a better opening drive for the Rams right there. And then you come back here and you got the ball coming down inside, and St. Joe's looks like they're going to score, and Falcone pops the ball loose. King's there to pick it up.
And all of a sudden, the touchback gives it back to Pine Richland. St. Joe's Prep was not done, however. They ultimately do get that touchdown that they were oh so close to as Marcus Mason punches it in, and now we're even at 7-7. And then the opportunities that both teams were able to do, but sometimes it's just good defense that forces the turnovers. It really isn't the conditions that's forcing the turnovers. It's hard hitting and good defense, and there's the interception by Phil O'Connor.
Yeah, both these defenses are doing a great job being very opportunistic, whether it's going in to try and strip the football, whether it's getting the interception. And right here you see Jurkovic, look, you get the ball to your best player if you're the Rams, let him go win the football game for you, run a little speed option, he keeps it, touchdown to go up by 7.
And so now you see the numbers, and I think there's a couple of things in there that jump out at me the most, and the most to me really is what Pine Richland is doing offensively, throwing the football. 9 for 17 with a pick is far removed from what's norm for Phil Jurkovic. Again, of all the great numbers, the one that really opened up my eyes was a 74% completion percentage. But I just think it's really because St. Joe's Prep is not allowing him to be comfortable in that pocket.
Yeah, you don't necessarily have to sack the quarterback. You have to make him uncomfortable, affect the pocket, get him off his spot. And Jurkovic is a very good quarterback with a very good arm. You see some of the balls he's throwing out here, they're ropes. But he's always moving right now. He can't set his feet. He's not comfortable. Wallace and those guys are getting after him right now.
And unfortunately for Pine Richland, those feet have found the end zone on 2 different occasions. And as a result of that, it is 14-7, Pine Richland on top. So Gabe Infante talking about that with St. Joe's Prep in terms of what they're going to have to do now offensively. That's the key. You've been saying it throughout the first half. Run the football, and that's where they've had the most success.
It's a simple game. Run the football, play great defense. And St. Joe's Prep can run the football. I watched them do it last week against Coatesville. You see it here today. They can run the ball. That's how they're going to win this football game.
And they've had so many opportunities. They've been so close, and we were talking about it. We're sitting here kind of calculating a little bit. Like, yeah, this is 14-7, but it really could be 21-14 in favor of St. Joe's Prep. They've been oh so close to punching the ball in the end zone a couple times. We saw the one that turned into a touchback. They had a pass into the end zone that was dropped. Could have been a touchdown. So if you're St. Joe's Prep, you got to look to yourself and say, you know what? We can move the football here. We can score the points. We know we've got that in us.
Yeah, and Coach Infante mentioned it right there at the beginning when he's talking, coming out of the half, is that just fix the mistakes. Fix the mistakes right now, and we can go win this football game. And it's about us. It's about what we're doing tonight. And if we can fix those mistakes, he feels pretty good about their chances.
In addition to which, they get the football to start the 3rd quarter, so they've got that in their favor as well. So the opportunity right out of the gate goes the way of the Hawks. We'll see if they can capitalize. 14-7, Pine Richland is on top of St. Joe's Prep. He's Brandon Noble. I'm Bob McCool. And again, thanks to all of us here at the crew at TV2 Sports and Service Electric. And of course, Mike Zambelli and Jim Will's a big part of that. They are part of our halftime shows throughout this week. And of course, calling games as well. Steve Degler's been with us throughout the weekend. Meg Bolger as well, although she's warm at home right now in Pittsburgh. But that's all right. We like her anyhow. Nonetheless, it's been a cast of a lot of people in addition to all of them. The guys doing the camera work, the production, the sound, all those kinds of things that give you the replays everything that give you high school football live around the state of Pennsylvania. We thank the crew at Service Electric and TV2 Sports for being a part of our live coverage here. Again, this is the 21st year that PCN has been bringing live statewide coverage of high school state championships here in the PIAA. So St. Joe's Prep with the football, and they'll start 1st and 10 from their own 37-yard line. And again, a reminder, the score is in favor of Pine Richland at 14-7. Marquez McCray ran 9 times for 28 yards, just 3 out of 11 throwing the football in the first half. And they want to run it the first play, and Pine Richland is expecting it, and Marcus Mason pays for it. He gets wrapped up, pushed backwards, and back to about the 34. He's going to lose 3 yards on first down.
That's a great job by Tyler King. I don't know if that was a blitz or if he just read that play and he hit the B gap right away, but he was right on top of the ball carrier as he got it.
We mentioned this in the first half. It looks like there's more than one guy wearing number 8 right now in Pine Richland, white and green. Now they're going to try a little jet sweep action, and it's James Cherry on that jet sweep. He cannot turn the edge, and that'll get back to what we talked about in the pregame. In this kind of condition, jet sweeps are a tough play to run.
Yeah, it's hard to turn the corner when it's icy outside. So those guys eventually at some point when you're running to the sideline, you've got to put your foot in the ground and go north and south. And you see it right here. Cherry gets around the corner, but the Pine Richland defense did a great job of stringing it out and not giving him a spot to put his foot in the dirt and go north.
Call it 3rd and 12. McCray wants to throw for it, lofting it up high, has a receiver downfield. It's Sanders, had it for a second but could not hold on. Good coverage defensively, and knocking it away was Thomas Burns for Pine Richland.
Yeah, Burns was on top of that thing. In fact, he almost ran the route from the looks of it. Sanders is a big receiver. He goes up, Burns is all over him. He grabs the face a little bit there at the end. Sanders had his hands on that football when they hit the dirt. Ball popped out, but Burns with great coverage, just maybe a little bit friendly with his hands up in the face mask there, but got away with one, no doubt about it.
So now Cherry will punt. Luke Meckler will return, and this one is off the side of the foot, and it's going to give Pine Richland even better field position than they may have hoped for, as this one will roll to a stop just across the 50-yard line. And Pine Richland, with that 14-7 lead, gets the football for the first time in the second half at their own 47-yard line. Dracovic, as we just mentioned in the first half, 9 out of 16 throwing the football, did have 1 pass intercepted. Through 38 touchdown passes in this his senior season, that interception was just his 6th, just shy of 3,800 yards in his career, in the season coming in. His best performance might have been against North Allegheny in the WPL quarterfinals. He was 18 for 20 for 432 yards in that game. Here's Kenny White trying to go east to west. He's got an edge. Kenny White's got midfield and run out of bounds shy of the 45 at about the 46-yard line. That should be a pickup of about 6 yards for Kenny White.
I think it's important for the Rams to mix a little run and pass in here. I think, again, the passing game isn't quite as effective as it has been. Dracovic, very, very good quarterback, but it's a tough night to throw the football. It's a tough night to catch the football on the other side of it, too. So I think that mix of run and pass is something they've got to do to keep the defense on their toes.
He finds a receiver here. It's Yoakum out of the slot. The ball's out. Yoakum had the football, had the first down, and the football came out, and St. Joe's Prep has recovered it. And again, when we continue to talk about this, it has nothing really to do with the snow as much as that's just balls a strip out of the receiver's hands, and the Hawks recover.
Yeah, it's such opportunistic defense right here. These guys are all going in for the ball. You're going to see them all the time. They're hitting the football. All right, you see, watch that ball comes in there. He loses again. It's cold, so holding the ball is tough. Kobach comes in there, 44. You can see him at the top, reaches back around with his left arm, and as he's getting out of there, that ball pops out. Let's see who dives on that thing. It's tough. There's a whole bunch of bodies in there.
10:31 left to go. The one thing we can tell you, that was a maroon uniform, and they have the football back. And here comes Colby Burrell trying to turn the corner. Breaks loose a 1 tackle before Crawford bumps him out of bounds. Shy of the 35. They'll spot him at the 34. Pick up a 5 on the play, or pick up a 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6 at the 34. So another turnover in this football game as the fumble gives it back to St. Joe's Prep. They started at the 30, down 14-7. Hawks in a 2nd and 6. Back to Burrell, trying to get outside, breaks loose of 1 tackle and a 2nd. Kenny White will knock him down shy of the 40. Great work by Burrell just to get out of his own backfield.
Yeah, I was sure Burrell was going to get stopped up there. He had 2 or 3 white jerseys show up right away, but he was able to get around the corner a little bit there. Kenny White comes up, does a great job. We're going to go fast here.
Picking up about 6 on the play is Burrell, and they are at the line of scrimmage, and a flag comes in before the snap of the football. It was going to be 3rd and about a yard, but it's not now.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
Maybe trying to go a little too fast.
Yeah, there's some miscommunication there. A lot of times, the Hawks will get up real quick when they're in that situation. It's 3rd and super short. They'll just go right now, right? McCray will get under center and they'll snap it and he'll sneak it. And when your O-line's expecting that, and all of a sudden you start looking over the sideline, those big guys are leaning forward. They're ready to go.
They were a 3rd and 1. It was a great opportunity to go for a quarterback sneak. Now they're in a 3rd and 6. So now McCray wants to throw for it. He's looking for Cherry in the slot. He's well covered, and McCray is in trouble, and he's going to go down. Going to get wrapped up, brought down, give him about a yard to the 35-yard line, and that's it. That's going to bring up 4th down, and that procedure penalty hurts the Hawks.
That's huge. And again, Coach Infante said, stop, fix our mistakes. And penalties are mistakes, and it's a mental error, and it was a communication issue. But that changed it. So you go from that short yardage where your 220-pound quarterback can sneak the ball real easy and your big O-line can go forward to, now you're facing a pressure package from the Rams and great man coverage on the back end, and you don't get it.
So Cherry again will punt, and again Meckler is back hoping for a return. So the Hawks cannot quick strike after getting the turnover, and a better job by Cherry on the punt here. It's a high short kick that Meckler has no choice but to call for a fair catch. So now it's 8:59 left to go in the 3rd quarter. 14-7 Pine Richland, our score remains, and the Rams have it back, 1st and 10 at their own 40. Eric Kasparovich, state championship as a player in 1993. His team beat Central Bucks West 15-14 in that 1993 state championship game. Here as a coach in 2014, the runner-up, as we showed you some of those highlights back in the first half. And looking for the school's first ever state championship game. We'll start it here from the first championship win, I should say. 1st and 10 at the 40. Here's a toss sweep to Kenny White, and all over it again is Cobalt for St. Joe's Prep as he wraps him up and tosses him for a loss back at the 35. Brad Cobalt with the tackle in the backfield.
That little toss sweep is a lot more effective when Djokovic actually attacks the line of scrimmage, because what it does is it creates that outside linebacker D and puts him in a tough spot, because who do you have to stop there? When you just pitch it, when he just pitches it right now, it's a lot easier to diagnose as a defensive player and go tackle the guy with the ball.
2nd down and 15 now for Pine Richland from their own 35-yard line. Djokovic looking to throw for the first time in the half. Looking for the home run, looking deep, has a receiver, and leaping and stripped of the football. It was Falcone who was back there, but a well-played ball defensively by Devin Dickerson to knock it incomplete. It'll bring up 3rd and 15.
Dickerson's done a great job tonight. Again, you can see Djokovic sit in the pocket here. He's got some time. He puts the ball downfield. Falcone had to slow down for that one. He almost outran that thing, so he had to slow down a little bit.
That guy knows a little bit about throwing the football. Former Pitt Panther quarterback Matt Lytle played with Eric Kasparovich. They remain good friends. Matt Lytle from the same high school as the guy we know in the booth with us, Ross Tucker. Of course, Matt Lytle had a much more successful professional career. Played at Pitt, played for the Carolina Panthers. Doesn't talk as much as that guy either.
Prior to the snap, encroachment, defense, 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
You hear the call from Jim Haney, a 5-yard penalty on encroachment against the Hawks, 2nd penalty of the 2nd half against the Hawks. And it puts Pine Richland in a little bit better spot at 3rd and 10. Again, the line of scrimmage now is the 40-yard line. Needing obviously to get to midfield to move the chains. Crawford goes in motion, right slot to left. They're going to throw it to him on the little wheel route. He's got blockers. He's got the 45 and out of bounds across midfield to move the chains at the 49-yard line of St. Joe's Prep.
That's a great job. Nice, easy pass. You get a really good athlete running. Djokovic throws a great ball. Lets Crawford catch it kind of in stride. And so now he's able to get upfield real quick. Plus, you got a couple receivers out there blocking. It's a good play call right there.
11 yards when they needed 10. That moves the chains back to Crawford. Crawford this time going right side, runs into a traffic jam and gets brought down at the 46 and a gain of 3. So Crawford, who had the big start to this game and then kind of got quiet for a while with Jordan Crawford, They feed him once on the pass and now once on the ground. And it's 2nd and 7 at the Hawk 46-yard line. Kovic delivering the football, but he delivers it way too high for Ray Falcone to go get. The incomplete pass makes it 3rd and 7.
Yeah, that ball got away from Djokovic a little bit there. You could see he was frustrated with that one, kind of popped himself in the head. He's done a great job tonight. Look, a lot of the balls that haven't been caught have been dropped. And he's putting the ball where it needs to be most of the time. That one got away from him, had a little wiggle to it, and was definitely a little bit high for Falcone.
So it's now 3rd down and 7 at the 46-yard line. 2 receivers to his right and 2 to his left as Yoakum goes in motion. Now Jurkovic is flushed out of the pocket, looking downfield, looking for Cameron Belay, but it's over his head as well, and it may be just a job there by Jurkovic to get rid of the football. As he's flushed out of the pocket, it's now 4th down.
Yeah, Belay stopped on the route there. I happened to get my eyes down there. I'm usually watching the offensive and defensive linemen, but for some reason Belay kind of stopped in his route. I don't know if there was a miscommunication there, if it was a hitch and go or what it was, but he got tangled up with the DB and wasn't where Jurkovic thought he was going to be.
And so now Pine Richland will go with the pooch kick with Jurkovic, as St. Joe's Prep does not have anybody back deep, but he mishits it and line drives it right into the end zone. So the idea behind that is to stop it short. It does not work. And St. Joe's Prep will get the football on the touchback at the 20. 7:23 left to go in the 3rd. Our score remains Pine Richland 14, St. Joe's Prep 7.
Penn State Sports Medicine of Penn State Health Milton S. Hershey Medical Center, official healthcare provider of Penn State Athletics, is proud to support the 2017 PIAA Football State Championships.
The PIAA Competitive Spirit Championships, January 20th, live on the PCN Select app. Watch again February 10th on PCN and on demand with the PCN Select app. Catch championship action on PCN.
Arlen Specter was a prominent public figure in Pennsylvania and on a national scale. From the Philadelphia District Attorney's Office to the Warren Commission and the United States Senate, Specter was a lightning rod on social issues and a man of principle in public service. Now, PCN brings you a direct account of his life and accomplishments in a new book, Arlen Specter, An Oral History. Go to PCNstore.com to order your copy today.
Game days are about more than the outcome. They are also about important life lessons. What it means to play with integrity, fairness, and respect. Represent your school and your community. The name on the front of the jersey is more important than the name on the back. You are part of something bigger than yourself, and regardless of the result, achieving the greatest victory of good character and sportsmanship.
The first 5 games in the record books. The 1A championship went to Jeanette over Homer Center. AA championship went to Southern Columbia over Wilmington. The 3A championship earlier today went to Quaker Valley over Middletown. The 4A championship Thursday night went to Cathedral Prep over Imhotep. The 5A championship last night was all Archbishop Wood over Gateway. And here we are, 3rd quarter of the 6A championship. Pine Richland 14, St. Joe's Prep 7. And the Hawks get the football back after the punt, 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line. Still 7 minutes and 23 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. Kaz McCray, the senior quarterback, handing it off to Marcus Mason, and just nothing happening right now in that run game for St. Joe's Prep as Pine Richland bottles him up right around the line of scrimmage, give him a yard forward to the 21.
They brought Tyler King again off the edge. He does a good job bending down there, getting Mason down on the ground before he can get going.
Colby Burrell, the sophomore, has had a whole lot more success than has Marcus Mason, the junior. It's Mason who stays out there. McCray wants to throw for it, set up a flanker screen to Cherry, and the ball again comes loose. Pine Richland says they have it. Officials say they do as well. So they set up the screen pass to Cherry, and they pop it loose again. And now there's a Hawk player injured on the play, but Pine Richland has forced another fumble.
That was a great job by the defense. All of a sudden, Cherry caught that football, and he was surrounded by, you can see him right here. He's got four defenders on top of him. I don't know who that is that comes in and knocks that ball out. But Meckler ends up with it in his hands at the end.
I'm going to say that's Anthony Sermonera, and if that's the case, then that's his second forced fumble of the night. And again, right now the concern for St. Joe's Prep is multiple, because the first things first is they've got an injured player on the field that they're tending to, but they also give the football back now to Pine Richland with a short field to work with. But a great job by the junior linebacker Anthony Sermonera to force another fumble, and again getting the hand on the football. And I want to emphasize this again, because people are going to think, looking at this game, that it's about the field conditions, but that's not. That's just good defensive football.
Yeah, absolutely. These guys are coming in, they're punching the ball out, they're ripping the ball out. And both sides, both sides have been doing it. You see those guys when they come in, the second man in to come make the tackle is trying to rip the football out. And that's a big thing. The other thing, though, is, too, look, when it gets cold like this, that ball gets hard, it gets slippery, it's hard to hold on to, your skin is slippery, and it's, again, I don't know this from experience, but from what I've heard.
You picked it up laying on the ground once or twice.
I laid on it mostly. That's what I did. I didn't want to run anywhere if I could help it. But you're going to see Cherry right here catch the football. Right, and here he comes. Ball pops out. And then there's bodies. I think it may be Cherry that's down on the ground still over there.
It's Luke Meckler who recovers it. And Pine Richland has it as they continue to tend to the injured player. And you're right, it is James Cherry who is the injured player for St. Joe's Prep that they're tending to right now. And so some concern on the part of the Hawks and their training staff looking at James Cherry. 6 minutes and 52 seconds remaining in the third quarter with the injury timeout. We'll take a timeout as well. 14-7, Pine Richland leads when we come back.
Packed with 9 essential nutrients, low-fat chocolate milk can be an important part of your recovery routine. Refuel with chocolate milk after your next workout.
Oh, look at that.
You know what those horses do after they pull that tremendous weight all the way to the end of the arena? They pull it all the way back to the other end.
Is this some kind of metaphor for being governor?
Maybe.
The Pennsylvania Farm Show, January 6th through the 12th on PCN.
Pennsylvania's top high school wrestlers take to the mat on PCN's Match of the Week. Follow the weekly matches and tournaments leading up to the PIAA Team and Individual Wrestling Championships exclusively on PCN and the PCN Select app. Join us this January. Go to PCNTV.com for the schedule and more details on PCN Sports.
14-7, Pine Richland on top of St. Joe's Prep. And Brandon used the word before of opportunistic. And now right now Pine Richland is hoping to be just that, as James Cherry does get help up and having some trouble, all kinds of trouble trying to put any kind of weight on that right leg. So serious issues right now for St. Joe's Prep, and obvious concerns as well for the senior wide receiver, as they will help him off the field after the fumble. And turnovers becoming a major issue in this game. That is the 5th turnover overall right now between these two teams. The difference is that opportunistic perhaps is a word to use by the defense, but the offense has not been taking advantage and have not become opportunistic. They're not turning it at any point.
Yeah, and that's one of the keys. When you talk about the turnover battle, usually it means that you're getting your offense an extra possession and they go in and score. And that's not happening right now. We'll see what the Rams can do here with great field position.
3 fumbles for St. Joe's Prep. A fumble and an interception are the turnovers so far for Pine Richland. As you see, the 3 for St. Joe's Prep and 2 for Pine Richland. Jerkovic on the run, runs for 4 to the 20. It's 2nd down and 6. Jerkovic wants to throw for it now, pointing people in the direction he wants him to go. Now he's going to go instead, and he gets popped at the 15-yard line. Got hit by 2 different defenders for St. Joe's Prep. Bounces back up at the 13-yard line and gets a 1st down.
Yeah, Jerkovic made a good decision there. He runs out. But again, as a coach, you got to think, man, I don't want that guy running out there like that. I mean, look, he had bodies all over him. Paul Hess came out of the stack there and hit him from behind. That's 5'10", 250 pounds in your back.
He goes right back for more, and he spins inside the 5 to the 2. Touchdown, Phil Jerkovic. Third one of the night, not to be denied. You don't often like to see a guy spin out of a tackle inside the 5-yard line, but he did, and he's in the end zone.
This is a great run. Again, it comes back just like they did at the end of the first half, right? Put the ball in your best guy's hands and let him go. And he breaks a bunch of tackles there from guys that can make tackles, and he drags Koba into the end zone.
Pretty impressive couple of runs for Phil Jerkovic. And as a result of that, Pine Richland gets their third touchdown of the night. And now on for the extra point comes Vito Orsini. Snap good, hold down, kick good as well. 6 minutes, 7 seconds left to go in the third quarter. Pine Richland extends their lead. It's now the Rams 21, the Hawks 7. So they do and finally take advantage of that short field and the fumble. And Jerkovic takes matters into his own hands, taking the bull by the horns, if you will, and runs it into the end zone.
And I think he's going to have to do a little bit more of that. I mean, look, that's the prep defense. The Hawks are doing a great job on the back end with their coverage, right? So Jerkovic's seen that he has no place to throw the football, and he's pulling the ball down and running. And then they're doing some designed runs. So you're good. Look, this is just a quarterback lead. That's like an ISO right there.
And look who's leading the blocking. Yeah. There he is again.
He's
Tyler
everywhere.
King
Exactly. Tyler King.
Lining up and just leading the way and gets the chip block that gets Jerkovic past the line of scrimmage, and then he does the work from that point forward. This Pine Richland team was also in the 6A basketball state championships here in Hershey back in March. They lost in that 6A title game to Reading High. Jerkovic had 14 points in that basketball game. Terrific all-around athlete. And Jerkovic and Pine Richland now trying to smell chocolate again here with this 6A football championship. They lead it 21-7. Still a lot of football left to be played with 6:07 left to go in the third. James Cherry was one of the return men for St. Joe's Prep, so now it's Brian Whitmore who is back there instead. And they will kick his way, and he'll get it from the 5. The 10, the 15 gets tripped up right at the 20-yard line. And so that's where the Hawks will start their drive. Again, 6:03 left to go, third quarter. 21-7 now. St. Joe's Prep lead gets a little bit deeper, down by 2 scores.
They were down to Coatesville. This is kind of, same situation. And the one thing that I was really impressed with when I watched that game was you never saw anybody get their head down. You never saw them kind of doubt who they were, what they were doing. And I think that's key right here. They have to go out and just play Hawks football. Like, run the football, don't press. McCray just needs to go out. And look, he scored 4 touchdowns with his feet in the second half of that game. So it's definitely doable here.
4 touchdowns rushing, through for 2 as well in that 53-49 game. And there he goes. And this time Pine Richland is waiting for him. They're going to wrap him up at the 20. And when we talked with Gabe Infante about that game last week, he said that if nothing else, it gave us confidence to know that, hey, we do have enough offensively that we're never out of a game. We can score with people. They've won a lot of games with their defense, but they can win a shootout too. They know that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, we talked about it in the open. Marcus McCray's a winner, right? Those guys find ways to win, and we saw that against Coatesville, and he's got an opportunity to put another one in the books here.
Marquez McCray again on the quarterback draw play, but again, Pine Richland is working and keying on it. Sermonera there to stuff the gap from his middle linebacker spot. Give him a yard. It's 3rd and 9.
Yeah, that's good run defense right there. Sermonera's right in there, right downhill on top of that thing. His little QB counter, pulled a couple of linemen. And you've got a 6'2", 220-pound quarterback back there. That's a big running back. And but that front 7 for the Rams has done a great job so far this series, stopping the run.
3rd and 9 as a result. Lenahan is in there now as the back. He's really more of the tight end, so they're going to throw the football, looking for Johnny Freeman, but he's well covered. Again, Burns is in the coverage. He has been very good in coverage. Thomas Burns forcing McCray to throw that one away, essentially. A quick 3 plays and a punt, and there Kasparovich's crew is about to get the football back again.
Yeah, that was a great defensive series right there, dude. Great job against the run with their front 7. Burns does a great job in coverage, doesn't give McCray any place to go with the football.
So now the Hawks have to punt the ball. And Cherry also was their punter as well. Jack Sutton on the punt. Meckler lets it go by him, and now he picks it up on a hop, and he's juggling it all the way. Dangerous opportunity there. And Luke Meckler, I believe, will hold on to the football. Heartbeats are stopping right over there on the Pine Richland sideline. A lot of opportunities for St. Joe's Prep in this football game, but right now those opportunities are pretty much some missed opportunities for the Hawks.
Yep, big forced fumble right there. That should have been a touchdown. You see it right here, too. Rightly misses one. Could have been a touchdown. There's Seminara ripping the ball out. White gets the ball. I mean, look, there's so many opportunities here. This is opportunities for the defense. Look, the Rams have done a great job getting the ball back for their offense, and it's tough. Look, for a coach, when you're killing yourself, it's hard. If you go out and you just get beat, you can handle that sometimes, right? But when you're making those kinds of mistakes, that's super frustrating for a coaching staff.
Pine Richland with a chance now to maybe go for the jugular. They lead it by 2 scores. They get the football back starting from the 41-yard line. They'll give it to Crawford. Crawford has a little bit of an angle before he's shoved out of bounds. And it's Coball on the tackle, pushing him out of bounds at about the 48 or 49-yard line. They'll bring up 3rd down and about 3 for the Rams. Excuse me, 2nd down and about 3. Jurkovic looking for more, looking for the deep ball, has a receiver, the pass is caught, and it's punched out. The pass was caught by Crawford, they punched it out, and now we're going to wait and see where we're going to spot the football.
That was a great job by Devin Dickerson right there. Not in coverage, but in punching that ball out.
But he punched it out of bounds, and so it's going to stay Pine Richland football, and it's going to be at the 1-yard line.
Yeah, unfortunately, nobody was there to recover it.
The balls are bouncing the way of the Rams right now. They almost fumbled it on the punt return. They get a ball punched out, and it's out of bounds, and so it's 1st and goal. Now movement at the line of scrimmage. It's a great play defensively by Dickerson to recover and punch it out from Crawford, but unfortunately, he ran out of real estate.
Prior to the snap, we have a snap infraction against the offense. Remains 1st down, 5-yard penalty.
Backs the Rams up 5, obviously. Their 4th penalty of this football game. And so now it's 1st and goal from the 6. After the 47-yard hookup from Jurkovic to Crawford. It puts them on the doorstep, and then the penalty pushes them back 6, or pushes them back 5, excuse me. Jurkovic will hand this one off. No, he'll keep it himself and take it home himself. How about number 4 for Phil Jurkovic?
They've done a great job of mixing the run game up a little bit. When you've got a quarterback like Jurkovic who can run the ball in between the tackles, and you've got a guy like Jordan Crawford who can stress the edge of your defense, it creates a lot of problems. You're going to see Jurkovic there, gives it a little read. So what it does is it pulls the linebackers out of the box. They chase Crawford. Jurkovic runs right into the end zone.
Turns into a 6-yard touchdown run, and on comes Vito Orsini to attempt another extra point. But Pine Richland does indeed take advantage, gets the opportunity, gets a bounce to go their way, and they put it in the end zone. 4 minutes and 27 seconds now remaining in the 3rd quarter. Pine Richland extends their lead. It's now the Rams 28 and St. Joe's 7. Jurkovic, you know so much about what he can do because of his passing abilities, but he can run the football. We told you at the beginning of the game, he's run for over 1,000 yards on the season, but putting it in the end zone has been his business tonight with his legs. 4 touchdowns on the night, 24 on the season.
Yeah, and that was set up obviously by that long pass. Gets Crawford down the edge, nice pass. A little again, fortunate that ball bounced the way that it did when Devin Dickerson punched it out. And then you get your quarterback again. Your nice little run option pass there, and Crawford going across the front, Jurkovic going right up the middle. You got to respect both of them, and the big guy scores.
You know, that football with that funny shape of it bounces funny ways, and you go back to that punt where Meckler probably maybe should have let it go, and he decided to try to pick it up and grab it with one hand and almost coughed it up.
Yep.
Oh, so close to being a turnover, but it's not. Meckler does hold on to it. And then that ball that gets punched out, if it rolls a different way, maybe St. Joe's recovers it. Maybe it goes into the end zone. Instead of rolling out at the 1, it rolls into the end zone. It's a touchback, and St. Joe's Prep gets the football at the 20. It doesn't. It rolls Pine Richland's way by going out of bounds and sets them up at the goal line. Yeah, they commit a penalty, but it opens up the field for Djokovic to take it in for the touchdown. And all of a sudden, it's 28-7 instead. And now, can the Hawks respond? This time, it's Marcus Mason on the return. Marcus Mason across the 30, across the 40. And this was an aspect of the football game for the St. Joe's Hawks that really concerned Eric Kasparovich, because they're very good in special teams on the return. They block a lot of kicks as well. And Mason with a solid return to the 41-yard line.
That's a good job. He just goes north and south. Not a lot of dancing, not going sideways. Just goes up, hits it. There's some great blocks up there. Sermonera is there to finish it off, get him down on the ground. That's a great return. That's a little bit of a spark. St. Joe's needs to just come out and play football, right? Run the ball, be smart. One of the things I think is really big and really important here is to win on first down, right? Get 4 yards on first down, so your second, your third down are a little more manageable. They have
not moved the sticks yet in this second half, and here's Burrell trying to do that. He gets knocked off his feet by Burns. Burns has been good in run support as well as pass coverage. Knocking Burrell down after he picks up a couple, put him at the 44. It's 2nd and 7. Right back to Colby Burrell. He's got the 45. He's got midfield. Burrell knocks a man down. He's at the 40. Makes another man miss. Colby Burrell to the 15, to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown. 56 yards. The sophomore's in the end zone.
Let's run the ball. Yeah, I mean, look, and that's a great job by Colby. That's an amazing individual effort. He got great blocks up front, but he runs through a couple tackles. Sermonera is there. He misses. I think King missed. And again, these are guys that have made great tackles all night. Colby Burrell does a great job outrunning Kenny White to get into the end zone. Again, that's the spark. That's what happened last week, right? They got some positive things happen. They score a touchdown here. Now they need to come out and play great defense, get the ball back, and just do it again. But again, it comes down to running the football for St. Joe's Prep.
Anthony Tagano on for the attempt of the extra points, and he bangs it home. 3 minutes and 46 seconds remaining, and the Hawks answer with a touchdown and a touchdown run by Colby Burrell. 56 yards again on the touchdown run. And with that, the Rams lead is now at 28-14. You see, it didn't take the Hawks very long, just 41 seconds. Now, if you're St. Joe's Prep, you got to be thinking exactly what Pine Richland has been able to do. Punch the ball loose, come up with a turnover, give ourselves the football right back, and ride this momentum wing that Colby Burrell just gave you.
Absolutely. Burrell does a great job here. He gets some great blocks up front, some blocks downfield. But then at the end of the day, this is just Colby Burrell making a great run. Great vision. Good job running through some tackles and then finishing right there at the end, sliding in the snow.
5'8", 185-pound sophomore Colby Burrell gets the touchdown for Gabe Infante's crew. Now maybe Gabe Infante looking for that break that gets them a little bit closer right now. Hoping his defense and Brad Coball, who he's talking to right now, can come up with that turnover like we're talking about. Pine Richland has other ideas. They're going to get the football back, as you see Jordan Crawford, who had that great kickoff return to start the game. We'll get it here on the kickoff, provided that Tagano will give him the opportunity, and he will. Crawford from his own 12. 20, 25, 30. Here he goes again. Crawford's at the 40. 45 and run out of bounds just shy of midfield. So Jordan Crawford with the answer on a kickoff return. That's 46 yards and right back out near midfield to the 48-yard line.
It's a great return. Jordan Crawford's a weapon, man. Catches the ball, runs the ball, kick returner. Watch him. He lets his blocks get set up, and then all of a sudden he accelerates again. North and south. That's what's important. Go forward. Don't go sideways. Gets out there on the edge and gets run out of bounds and knocks some poor kid over there on the sideline over.
Michael Alexander runs him out of bounds or pushes him out of bounds. And again, you got to be paying attention no matter where you are on the field, because bodies can be flying at you at any point in time. And here come the Rams from their own 48-yard line. Falcone is split out to the right. 3 receivers to the left for Phil Djokovic. Hands it off, fakes the handoff to Crawford, and here comes Djokovic trying to keep it, but Coball says not this time. Wraps him up after a pickup of a yard.
That's a great play by Coball right there. That's the play that's been hurting him on defense, and Djokovic does a great job. He gives that. You see Crawford go across the formation. They fake the sweep outside to him, and then Phil keeps it and runs it up the middle, and Kovas stayed home that time. Again, it's about discipline. It's about being in your gap and trusting the other guys to be in their gaps. That's how you play great run defense.
So now it's 2nd and 9. So Djokovic wants to do it with his arm, and he does. As he finds a receiver, the pass is caught inside the 30 and down to the 25. St. Joe's Prep has him wrapped up, and they're trying to strip the football loose. It's not going to work, as it's a first down pickup, 28 yards, and it's Yoakum on the catch. Or actually, it's Falcone on the catch out of they unsort the bodies, and Falcone has it inside the 25 at the 23-yard line.
Look at that football, man. That thing just absolutely was a rope right there. They're playing with a little tempo now. They're ready to go, trying to get St. Joe's kind of off balance.
They go back this time to Goltz, and Goltz almost had that one pop loose as well. As they spin him down, they'll drop him back for a loss back at the 25-yard line. A loss of 2 puts him in a 2nd and 12 at the 25. Inside of 2.5 left to play in this third quarter by the time the Rams snap this football. Yoakum, DeFrancis, Falcone from left to right on the right side for Djokovic. Goltz and Crawford on the left side. Djokovic has been in that empty backfield for a good portion of this football game. They protect him. Now the protection breaks down. Wallace chases him out of the pocket. He steps up. He delivers the football. The pass is caught. And into the end zone goes Ben Yoakum. Yoakum made the catch, spun out of a tackle, and took it home. Touchdown, Pine Richland.
That's a great job by Djokovic, just keeping the play alive, right? You're going to see him, it was a bad snap. It's off to the side. No pressure. He sits there, great coverage. And then with his feet, he gets out of the pocket. And now all of a sudden, it's that scramble drill. And as a defensive back, you've got to keep your eyes on your guy. Yoakum finds a little spot there. Djokovic throws the ball where only he can catch it. And he turns it up and scores.
So for those of you who are wondering, this Djokovic kid, he doesn't have any touchdown passes tonight. Now he does, and Yoakum takes it home. So the Rams showing the versatility of their offense, the dynamic abilities of Djokovic and the passing offense, as well as their ability to run the football. And on for the extra point comes Orsini. And so after St. Joe's Prep does get that touchdown to close the gap, Pine Richland comes back with the counterpunch, takes it down.
Real fast. When you got an offense like this and a quarterback like that, it gives you a lot of fun things that you can do, and they move the ball so quick. Look, St. Joe's, they need to kind of just rally, get back together, move the ball, score another touchdown, and kind of keep playing football.
Before the kickoff, we'll check in with Steve Degler on the sidelines.
All right, Bob, we talked about the service trips that St. Joe's Prep has made in the past. Same thing for this Pine Richland team. The Rams have been involved with various charities and nonprofit organizations, including the March of Dimes, where they have volunteered both time and manpower to staffing fundraising events. They've also helped feed the needy, and they've raised money to benefit worthy causes. And the coach says there's a certain level of celebrity that comes with being a winning football team in Western Pennsylvania. So they've become role models for the youth in their community, and they do their very best to stay in touch with their biggest fans. Every fall, the current team visits the next group of Rams at the district's elementary schools, and they read children's books to those groups of students. And then the Rams will take the time to sign autographs and take pictures with the kids to promote attendance at upcoming games, as well as create interest for those that have aspirations of someday wearing the green and white on Friday night. So they give back, but they try to keep that program going at the same time, Bob.
Boy, I tell you what, when you've got a good program going, and when you've got good players in that program, and you get the kids in the elementary schools involved, and they start looking up to these kids, it doesn't hurt when you have a kid like Phil Djokovic to use as a role model. You're building a foundation for the future of your program. And for Eric Kasparovich, who wants to stick around for a while and continue to have good players come your way, these kids can be model citizens for the young kids in the school district, and it's just going to continue to feed your program for years to come.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a part of building your program as a high school football coach. It's not just the 4 years you have those kids at your school. It's down at the middle school. It's at the elementary school. It's at the youth football level, making sure that you're a presence in the community, so they're excited to get there and come play football.
It's called building a shelf life if you're a head coach and you think about it. Here's a throwback, and the pass is caught. It's caught by Sanders. Sanders into a lot of traffic. Better be careful with that football with a lot of bodies around him. It's going to turn into just a 2-yard gain to the 35-yard line. Inside of 2 minutes now remaining in the third quarter. 35-14 is our score. Pine Richland leads St. Joe's Prep. Hawks have it 2nd and 8 at their own 35-yard line. McCray fakes the handoff, wants to throw the football. Pass is caught. It's Sanders again. Sanders is thrown down in Pine Richland territory, all the way down at the Ram 41-yard line. First down pickup for St. Joe's Prep.
That was a great job by McCray. He put that ball right where it needed to be. Sanders ran a great just a little post route, a little skinny post. Burns was right on top of him, but McCray just put that ball right where Sanders could catch it. Great job.
Turns into a first down pickup to the Pine Richland 41-yard line. Lenahan is in there as a blocker in the backfield. McCray looks left, looks right, looks back the other way, looking for Rightly. But Rightly got kind of tangled up a little bit, trying to reach back for the football. He was looking over his left shoulder, and McCray threw it over his right. It turns out to be incomplete. It's 2nd and 10.
You're going to watch this here. There's Rightly. It's a little bubble and go right there, faking that little screen pass where the end man on the line comes back.
2nd down and 10. They go back to the ground game, and it's Burrell. No, it's Mason who gets the call. And Mason trying to stay in bounds, can't quite do so as he gets bumped out of bounds at around the 32-yard line. It's still about a 9-yard pickup, and it puts St. Joe's now in a 3rd and 1.
That's a good job. Mason does a great job. He gets right out on the edge, gets vertical, goes north and south. It's a big gain. Again, you don't have to throw the ball to come back in a game like this. I mean, they showed it on their last drive. They moved the ball really fast and got a touchdown. You can do the same thing right here. Again, there's some advantages to being able to put the ball down the field, but at the end of the day, if it's not working, don't force it.
Now Marcus Mason shifts out of the backfield, goes into the left slot, and McCray will keep it himself on 3rd and 1. McCray lowers his shoulder and gets the first down for St. Joe's inside the 30, called it about the 28, maybe the 27-yard line. But more importantly for St. Joe's Prep, it's 1st and 10, and it is at the 28.
That's a good job. You go with the empty set. It's gonna get the linebackers out of the box, the safeties out of the box. Get your 220-pound quarterback to give you that 1 yard.
1st and 10 at the 28-yard line, inside of a minute to go, 3rd quarter of the football game. Marquez McCray wants to throw for this one. Waiting for somebody to get open. It's Sanders he's looking for, but he throws it too high and incomplete. Dawson Goltz was there in coverage for Pine Richland.
He had Sanders right there. I mean, Sanders was open. Goltz was there, but it was just that little skinny post that he hit perfectly last time. It's the same thing right here. You see him kind of coming underneath. The ball's just way too high right there for Sanders.
So it's 2nd down and 10 as a result at the 28. Again, 3 to the left of McCray and 1 to his right, and the 1 to his right is Johnny Freeman. Going to dump this one off short, and a big play defensively. Dumped it off to Burrell, and coming up and making the stick was again Anthony Burns.
That was a physical tackle.
Thomas Burns. Thomas Burns with a big stick.
Big stick. Little screen out there. I tell you what, these defensive backs have done a great job tonight coming up on those little screens, and it just talks about great eyes, right? Thomas Burns, he's probably not feeling his arm right now, but you can see him kind of moving that thing around. You come up and make a hit like that on a tailback, and you feel it.
Loss of 2 on the play. You are correct. There's been a number of passes tonight that have actually lost yardage on a completion. And now Freeman gets his feet tangled up with Burns, and that's an incomplete pass. Fans want a pass interference penalty, but it's not. The feet just got tangled up with one another. That will be the final play of quarter number 3. Pine Richland has never won a football state championship. There are 12 minutes separating them from doing just that. 35-14. We'll have those final 12 when we come back to Hershey Park Stadium.
I would recommend becoming an official because you can feel like you're a part of a sport that you love.
We officiate for the athletes and for the sport that we love, and so as long as you keep them first, then it's going to be a great experience.
So the money I've made from officiating for the past few years, I've put all that money into savings to pay to finish my college education. In 6 months, when I complete that, I will not be in any debt.
Officiating the state championship and getting that call to officiate the state championship was an emotional thing for me, just because of what I've been through, you know, the ups and downs, and getting that call really meant a lot to me. Sometimes I see student athletes that I officiated years and years ago, and they say, "Man, you did a great job. Thanks for everything you've done."
We get ready to start the fourth quarter of football in the 6A state championship game. Pine Richland right now in control thanks to that big third quarter. And they lead at 35-14 alongside Brandon Noble. My name is Bob McCool. Steve Degler is on the sideline as the Hawks have the football now in a 4th down and 12 at the 30-yard line. Obviously, there's no tomorrow for St. Joe's Prep at this stage of the football game, and they're going to go for it on 4th down by 3 scores. Cray, now he's in the empty backfield with 3 receivers to his left and 2 to the right. Plenty of time to throw the football, looking for somebody to get open, going to look for Rightly, and again, Rightly gets his feet tangled up with the defensive back. That's Dawson Goltz, incomplete pass, and Pine Richland will take over on downs. St. Joe's Prep has had 6 possessions in this second half. 4 of them have, one of them has obviously ended in a touchdown, 1 on a turnover, but just never really able to get a whole lot of offense rolling in the second half with just 3 first downs. More importantly, now the Pine Richland Rams with a chance to add on to their lead as they'll take possession early on here in this fourth quarter, starting from their own 30. Dracovic hands it off to Kenny White. Kenny White dances his way outside, gets the first down, and finally bumped out of bounds close to midfield. Looks like they'll spot him shy of the midfield stripe at the 49-yard line. That is a 19-yard first down run for Kenny White and Pine Richland.
It's nice to have a weapon like that doesn't even really start on your offense. Crawford's usually the guy in the backfield, and you throw Kenny White in there, you got some fresh legs, a guy that hasn't carried the ball much, and you get plays like that.
He runs for 19 yards and takes a break. They go back to Crawford now, and Crawford drags Cobalt with him for a gain of about 7 to the 44-yard line. Second down and 3 as a result of that 7-yard run. Richland contented, you would think right now, to just kind of keep the ball on the ground a little bit. It's Crawford trying to go from one side to the other, but not going to happen. Well played, Dawson DeUlius, who comes up from that free safety spot and tackles Crawford in the backfield.
That's a great tackle. You see DeUlius kind of come up real fast. That's a hard tackle to make in space right there. And a lot of times you see that thing gets missed, and he does a great job. He goes low, he wraps, he rolls. That's exactly how they coach it.
DeUlius, who will head to Princeton to continue his football playing, is now forced Pine Richland into a 3rd down and call it about 6 back at the 47-yard line. Back to the naked backfield for Dracovic. Plenty of time, now runs out of time, steps up, looks for a receiver, looking for Falcone. Did he have a foot in bounds? He did not. Pass will go as an incompletion, and it's 4th down. Falcone trying to fight the sideline, keep his eye on the football all at the same time, and the sideline wins. So the incomplete pass will make it 4th down, and here we'll see it, the perfect view of it. He's already out of bounds before the football even got to him. And so here's where you have to think about things, because if you're Eric Kasparovich right now, you're thinking what could go wrong.
Right.
And what could go wrong is a block punt, because St. Joe's Prep is very good at that.
Yes. Or kick return.
So they'll have Dracovic just kind of pooch kick it. And here is the return possibility for St. Joe's Prep. And it's DeJuan Dandridge on the return, and the ball is on the ground. And Pine Richland recovers it, and it's Dracovic. Are they going to say his knee was down? Dandridge on the return, and as he spun out of a tackle, the ball came out, and Dracovic recovered it. We'll see what the officials are going to say. There's a flag on the play as well.
During the return, block in the back, against the return team. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, 1st and 10.
St. Joe's Prep will keep the football, but they'll be back a little bit further because of the block in the back. We'll see the play unfold right here.
Yep, that ball is out. That's a good job. I don't know who that was coming in there to make that tackle, but you see him reaching for that ball and ripping it out again. That was definitely a fumble.
So St. Joe's Prep fortunate to keep the football. Still 10 minutes and 36 seconds left to go in the game. They have it now back instead at their own 21-yard line. Marquez on a toss sweep, gives it up to Mason. Mason makes one-man miss, and then King's there to bounce him out of bounds. Out close to the 20, across the 25, actually to the 26. It's a gain of 5.
That's a great play call right there. Get your fast guy out on the edge on first down. You get a 2nd and 5 situation right here. You don't have to throw the ball every snap right now. I know I keep harping on that, but you really don't. And these guys can run the football. They run it really, really well.
And you can play hurry up through the run game if you can be effective at running the football. And especially if you can get out of bounds, as Mason did there. McCray looking to throw the football, can't find him open one way, goes back the other way, and the pass is caught. Freeman makes the catch and finally gets bounced down by Kenny White. First down pickup across the 40 to the 43-yard line.
That's a good job by McCray. Great catch by Freeman. They finally connected, and McCray's got to get him moving here. They need to keep moving, move the ball, move fast, but not out of control.
From the 43-yard line on a 1st and 10, McCray. Looking again, he's got an open receiver, but it's off the fingertips. Looking again for Freeman. Actually, that was not Freeman, number 11. Instead, it was Shamir Hagens into the game for the first time, who couldn't quite keep his feet balanced and make the catch up high as well. It does stop the clock, still with 10 minutes and 12 seconds left to go. 2nd down and 10. Hawks right back at the line of scrimmage. Hagens, Rightly, and Sanders on the left side. And they look again for Hagens, but it's too tall again and incomplete. And now it's 3rd and 10. And so all of a sudden now the drive kind of short circuits itself a little bit with a couple incomplete passes.
Yeah, and as nice as it is to stop the clock, you still need to move the ball forward. And that's kind of where we're struggling here right now. You get into that 3rd long situation. Now the Rams defense knows you got to throw the football. And, do they bring pressure? Do they drop 8? You don't know what you're going to get. And at the same time, this has not been an easy thing for the Hawks to get as a 3rd one.
They only have 3 down linemen, do the Rams, on 3rd and 10. They'll dump it off short. And again, the pass is incomplete. They were looking for Mason. And the hard-charging Kenny White, who's laid a lot of wood on the field tonight for Pine Richland. So it's an incomplete pass that makes it 4th and 10. Rams will now drop back and await the return of a punt. Jack Sutton doing the punting now for St. Joe's Prep. Luke Meckler is the return man. Or is it? Fake. They're going to throw it high. Up in the air goes Freeman. He makes the catch. Freeman goes high and makes the catch. Big first down pickup. St. Joe's Prep will bring the offense back out on the field.
Great call. I absolutely love it. Why not? You know what I mean? That's a great job. And nobody was expecting that at all. He threw that ball about 4 miles up into the air and it got there. And Freeman does a great job. He stops. He gets under it. Goltz just kind of let him catch it.
So it's 1st and 10 now for St. Joe's Prep at the Pine Richland 33. Hawks still have a pulse. McCray looking for the quick hitter to Sanders, but it's through his hands and incomplete. 2nd down and 10 as a result. And again, here comes Kenny White closing in.
They don't need the home run. They've still got just under 10 minutes. You don't need a home run right now. You just got to get a first down. Keep the ball in your hands.
McCray's got 3 to his right this time, and Sanders split to his left. He looks left, now he looks back right. Steps out of the pocket, going to try to run, but cannot get away. And grabbing a hold of him by the shoe top and slowing him down at least enough for the pursuit to help out was Nicholas Jelski.
This is a good job by Jelski. That's a big guy you're trying to bring down. He just keeps working, finds himself there, and then Camino comes up and finishes him off.
3rd down and 11 now, back at the 33-yard line. McCray steps up into the pocket. Now he's going to have to try to get out of there and cannot, as he's brought down from behind, and it's Jared Marfisi, one of the linebackers, who wraps him up at the 30. He does pick up about 3, but now it's 4th down.
Pine Richland's done a great job of mixing things up with their pressure, right? They'll rush 4, they'll bring 6, they'll rush 5. They've done a really good job of not letting McCray get comfortable in the pocket and making him move his feet. And then at the same time, giving him a lot of coverage, too, to look at, where he doesn't have open looks going down the field.
So now it's 4th down and 8 after that play by Marfisi to wrap up McCray. Again, they flush him out of the pocket, steps up, throws the football, and not able to hold on to it and keep his feet in bounds was Anthony Wrightley. So on downs, Pine Richland will take possession. 8:27 now left to go in the football game. The Rams get it back, sitting on a 35-14 lead.
Probably going to see a good dose of Jordan Crawford here. Maybe a little bit of Kenny White. Djokovic may run the ball here or there, but this is where you're going to want to try and run the football, eat the clock up, not give St. Joe's the opportunity to get back down the field one more time.
Never too early to start taking seconds off the clock when you can, and they do have the play clocks here in the end zone at Hershey Park Stadium. They snapped this one, however, with 14 seconds left, and it is Kenny White who gets the call. Not much doing there for Kenny White as he's spun down to the ground pretty quickly by Phil O'Connor. 2nd down and 10 after the run by White. Line of scrimmage is the 29-yard line for Pine Richland. Dawson Goltz is out to the left side. Ray Falcone is to the right side. They don't even bother to huddle up because they're not throwing it to them. I won't be surprised if they did.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Djokovic he fakes the handoff to White, and he's going to keep it. Djokovic's got the 1st down out across the 40 to the 43-yard line. As he's done so many times tonight, Phil Djokovic hurts St. Joe's Prep with his ability to run the football.
He does such a good job there of riding that fake out. It looks like White is getting the ball there. When he's done it with Crawford, he's getting the ball, and he pulls it at the last possible second, and he's right up the middle of the defense before you know it.
And all of a sudden, it's a 14-yard gain and a 1st down run, and now they're going to start to use that play clock, as I alluded to. They break the huddle only with 8 seconds left to go, so they'll run this one down inside of 5 seconds, eating time off that clock. Back to Kenny White. Kenny White again is sandwiched by the front of St. Joe's Prep defensively. Led by Coball. He's had a ton of tackles tonight for the Hawks. And he drops Kenny White for a loss of 2 back to the 41-yard line. Look to the sideline. Gabe Infante powerless to stop the clock, and this is a feeling that he is not very accustomed to. Been here to the state championship 3 times. He's gone home a winner each and every one of those times. For Pittsburgh Central Catholic in 2013, over Pine Richland, as we talked about in the matchup the first time between these two teams in 2014, and then an impressive win last year against Pittsburgh Central Catholic. And now St. Joe's Prep will burn its first time out. Comes with 6:28 left to go as they stop Pine Richland, force them into a 4th down. So the Hawks burn their first timeout with 6:28 left to go in the football game and trailing 35-14.
Coach Infante knew, we talked to him before the game, he knew this was going to be a battle. You know what I mean? He knew that they were loaded. They had a lot of great football players over there around a very, very good quarterback. And, you've got Djokovic over there, and then you've got all the weapons around him. Crawford, DeFrancis, Falcone, those guys. And you're going to see him here. Right? He's beat them with their feet today, not the arm. It's been pretty impressive to watch.
Djokovic with 1 touchdown. Then comes the second one that gives them a 14-7 lead at halftime, and he was right back at it in the 3rd quarter. And again, bouncing off of tackles all the way through the last 5 yards or so. And then one more for good measure, and then he does what so many people have seen him do, and that's buy time, find hits, and ultimately get a receiver in the end zone for a touchdown. So now Pine Richland's in a 3rd down and called about 16. And here goes again with the legs. Jurkovic just trying to pick up a couple, make sure he doesn't turn the football over. And it'll be 4th down, and Pine Richland will punt the football. And now St. Joe's Prep will call a 2nd timeout. So they'll get the football back with 6 minutes and change remaining in this football game, and they're going to fight this one to the very end. There's no doubt about it. A lot of respect between the two coaches of these two teams. When we were down the field, they have mutual admiration society, to say the least. Check in more with Steve Degler on the sideline.
All right, Bob, that last tackle was made by St. Joe's Prep defensive end Jake Fury, and what a well-rounded young man he is, a National Merit semifinalist. Eagles fans may remember his uncle Jerry. He played in Philadelphia for several years. Now, Jake was also the recipient of the Mini Max Award given by the Maxwell Football Club of Philadelphia to high school football players for their academic, athletic, and service work. Now, he is waiting to hear back from the schools he's applied to. Check out this list: Princeton, Yale, Johns Hopkins, Carnegie Mellon, Stanford, and Notre Dame. He plans on majoring in computer science while continuing his involvement in athletics and campus service. His areas of interest, Bob, you two guys have a lot in common. Trust me. Machine learning and cybersecurity industries. How about that?
Well, the list of schools was pretty much the same. I sent a letter to him. I didn't get an answer back, but, you know, you can't blame a guy for trying. Jurkovic punts the football. It rolls to a stop all the way down inside the 25, down to the 21-yard line. 6 minutes, 6 seconds left to go. St. Joe's Prep trails Pine Richland when we come back in the 6A championship game, 35-14.
What can you do with 2 bacon, egg, and cheese sandwiches for $5 from Dunkin'? Settle a debt, make a friend, save the day, or keep them both for this handsome devil. With 2 bacon, egg, and cheese sandwiches for $5, the future is in your hands. America runs on Dunkin'.
Dunkin' has lots of fall favorites to root for. Maple pecan, pumpkin, maple sugar bacon. But on game day, we root for one team. One team, baby. Win the fall, folks.
Your business could be in 3.3 million Pennsylvania homes. For sports sponsorships, contact Joel Bechtel at PCNTV.com.
35-14, Pine Richland leads St. Joe's Prep on a cold, wintry night in central Pennsylvania. The high school sports action continues on PCN this January. Pennsylvania's best wrestlers battle out during PCN's Match of the Week, all leading up to the PIAA team and individual wrestling championships. Go to PCNTV.com to learn more. It looks like a winter wonderland. We were down in the field before the game when it was still snowing. Kind of felt like we were in a snowball. Yes. When things were coming down there. It looked kind of cool.
It was great. I mean, look, the snow. There's no wind. It was just kind of coming straight down, big fluffy flakes. It was cool.
6 minutes left to go in the football game. St. Joe's Prep back on the field. They have the football 1st and 10. It was 1st and 10 at the 21. McCray throws one incomplete. McCray looking for more here. Nobody open one way, nobody open the other way. Kristofic chases him, and Kristofic stripped him. Pine Richland comes up with another turnover, the 4th fumble forced, which is not easy to say, by the way. Pine Richland does come up with the football. Andrew Kristofic, the big-time offensive lineman, comes up with a big play on defense as well.
It's a great job reaching out with that right arm to pull the throwing arm down as McCray goes to pull it up and get rid of the ball. Kristofic does a great job getting that thing out.
And he is a very athletic young man. He was also part of that basketball team with Jurkovic that ends up with a silver medal in the 2017 6A championship game. Kristofic getting a lot of major Division I offers, including an offer earlier this week to Notre Dame. And Fighting Irish thinking maybe we can get a couple of Pine Richland Rams. Of course, Kristofic still got another year at Pine Richland. Jurkovic, little toss pitch to Crawford. Crawford to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown, Pine Richland. Icing on the cake, perhaps, for the Rams as they turn another turnover into a touchdown.
It's a little speed option again. Jurkovic's going to press the edge a little bit. He's got Crawford right outside of him. Puts that outside backer or safety or DN in a real bind. You're going to see it right there. He just flips it. Wallace isn't able to make the play like he did earlier, and Crawford takes the ball into the end zone.
So the turnovers just too much for St. Joe's Prep to overcome. We give a lot of credit to Pine Richland and their defense because they have been the ones who have punched it loose or stripped it loose, as Kristofic did right there. This time the extra point is blocked. And so it's a 41-14 advantage now for Pine Richland over St. Joe's Prep. There's Crawford, who had the early spark on the offensive side for Pine Richland. Of course, that big opening kickoff return set them up with a short field. Jurkovic took it in for the touchdown, and there the two classmates congratulating each other. Crawford's had a great season. He's run for over 1,200 yards on the season. Finally gets his first touchdown in this championship game. His 25th rushing touchdown of the year.
When you look at this offense, and as I was getting ready this week for the game, and you look at the numbers, you almost go, is that right? Is that a correct? The amount of touchdowns that they scored, the amount of yards that they put up, it was really amazing. I'm sure that as Coach Infante and the Hawks staff kind of watched this thing this week, and you start prepping for this, and you go, where do you start? And do you start with the run game? Do you start with the pass game? You've got to pick one to take away because they can beat you with both.
Again, they average just under 48 points per game, and they still have a shot at that with 41, but still just inside of 6 minutes left to go. By the way, the extra point was blocked by Jeremiah Trotter Jr. That name sounds familiar. It should. Former Eagle linebacker. He's actually he's a volunteer assistant on that coaching staff, but Jeremiah Trotter Jr. is a part of the St. Joe's Prep unit. Here is a short kickoff this time to be returned by DeUlius. DeUlius to the 30, to the 35, 40, 45, and finally knocked down. And on special teams is Sermonera.
Yep,
Sermonera and King have just been relentless in every aspect of the game, tackling people, blocking people, you name it. They've been busy.
They've done everything. They've been around football. That says a lot about this football program. They're both juniors. They're coming back. You got him, Kristofic, Caddick up front. This is not a. They've got some seniors that are playing some football, but there's a core group that'll be coming back next year. I'm sure that they're pretty excited. 1st and
10 now for St. Joe's Prep. They take the football back again at the 47-yard line. Rams showing blitz. Now King takes a step back. Craig takes a step forward, delivers the football. Big hit delivered as well. And it's Sermonera on the hit as Riley makes the catch across midfield at the 48-yard line. 2nd down and 5 after the completion to Riley. Clock continues to run. St. Joe's Prep only can stop it one more time. McCray will hand it off this time. Fighting for yardage and picking up the 1st down was Marcus Mason.
It's a nice little play. Just a little draw. It's kind of subtle. McCray drops back. Looks like he's going to pass. They hit that one for a big gain earlier. They never went back to it.
Mason stays in the backfield. Switches from left to right side of the quarterback, Marquez McCray. McCray delivers this one. And he looks for Sanders. And again, Sanders trying to hold on to the football. Takes a pop as he does. And comes up a yard short of the 1st down. But the pass is caught at the 30. 2nd down and 1.
The ball's at the 30-yard line. 2nd and 1.
Ryan Whitmore is the receiver who goes in motion from left side to right. Delayed handoff, and Mason has daylight. 25-20 and down to about the 15. They'll spot him down just shy of that at the 16. And another 1st down run. Mentioned that Jeremiah Trotter is a part of the coaching staff. And there is the former Philadelphia Eagle. Well, he could hit some people, couldn't he?
Trot was a good football player. He and I played together for 1 year in Washington, man. And he was a big dude running around, and he played angry.
Here's McCray with a throwback to Sanders, and well designed. They got a couple of blockers out in front, and Sanders will take it home for the touchdown. Brandon Sanders, the senior, with the touchdown catch. Well-designed play that goes for the touchdown for St. Joe's Prep.
Yeah, I like that play a lot. A little fake toss up to the top, and then all of a sudden you get a little screen at the bottom there. It was a good job, well executed. Got the defense running one way. McCray throws it back to Sanders. Got a couple good blocks out there and touchdown.
16 yards on the hookup from McCray to Sanders. And on comes Tagano for the extra point. And he is now 3 for 3. 4 minutes, 14 seconds remaining in the football game. Pine Richland's lead is now 20 at 41-21. St. Joe's Prep is the defending state champion because of what they were able to do last year against Pittsburgh Central Catholic. That, too, was a matchup of 1 against 2. Pittsburgh Central Catholic had that big offensive line, but St. Joe's Prep had that guy, DeAndre Swift, who was so good here 3 times in his 4 years as a member of the Hawks. But St. Joe's Prep was able to do it a little bit through the air as well. DeAndre Swift and company. Marquez McCray, of course, was the quarterback. As Brandon said, he is unbeaten as a St. Joe's Prep quarterback going into this game, and Gabe Infante's crew holds up the trophy for the 3rd time. St. Joe's Prep comes away with the first ever 6A PIAA championship. That was an impressive performance. They ultimately mercy ruled Pittsburgh Central Catholic, beating the Vikings 42-7 to take home the 2016 6A championship. Now it's onside kick time, and guess who recovers the kick? Anthony Sermonera recovers the kick at midfield for Pine Richland. 4:12 left to go in the football game. Pine Richland has it back. Let's find out a little bit more from Steve Dagler on the sidelines.
All right, Bob, this offense for Pine Richland now over 750 points scored this season. You guys were talking about that, and Coach Kasparovich gives his offensive line a lot of credit. And this is a unit that got a big boost just before the season started when Grant Lemeron rejoined the team. He saw significant time with the Rams as a sophomore, but he had to miss all of last year due to complications from a head injury, according to the coach. He said taking medical advice, he spent most of the 17 offseason away from the team. But several days before the Rams played their first game of the year, Grant was given a clean bill of health and a return to the lineup, and as the coach said, since then, Grant's play has been nothing short of superb. He has twice been named Player of the Week for this Rams team. A big boost for them just before the season started.
And he lines up as the left tackle. Jordan Crawford this time runs off the right tackle, but more often than not tonight, they've had a lot of success running off that left edge where Grant Lemeron lines up. So this time Crawford runs for about 5. I've actually called about closer to 7 as he gets to about the 43-yard line. Clock will continue to run. Again, the Hawks could call it one more timeout if they opt to. Pine Richland right now thinking only about staying in bounds, thinking about holding on to the football and making sure that Jurkovic will run down time off the play clock, and Hilton won't snap the football before that clock reaches below the 5-second mark. And he'll keep the football himself. He'll run for a first down across the 40 to the 39. Pine Richland may have lost the football. St. Joe's Prep is saying it's theirs, but I'm not sure if he was down yet or not. It looks like he was, or he recovered it, one or the other.
Flag out there, too. This is a big hit. Phil O'Connor, number 10, is going to come up here. You see him start ripping, right? There it is. He just rips that ball out.
And Jurkovic got it back. Again, boy, the ball has bounced the way of the Rams a lot
The
tonight.
result of the play is a first down. At the conclusion of the play, personal foul, defense. Late hit, 15 yards added on to the end of the run. First down.
So that will take him to from the 39 to the 24 on the personal foul penalty. But again, the ball bounced right back to Jurkovic after it was stripped by O'Connor.
Sometimes, jokingly, that ball bounces funny sometimes. But there really is something to it. Sometimes when you get on a roll and you have a great season going and you're 15-0 and those things happen for you. And again, you don't know why. A lot of times it's hustle. A lot of times, it's guys being where they're supposed to be and they're prepared. But at the end of the day, sometimes the football gods smile at you.
Here's Kenny White. They wrap him up back at the 25. And I'm going to go back to that scenario, or that series of plays where it bounced their way a couple of times. One, it started on a punt return. Luke Meckler tried to hold on to the football on a bounce, and it bounced away from him, and he was fortunate enough that it didn't roll too far away from him that he could fall on it. And then it was the pass play from Jurkovic to Crawford was punched out from behind, and if it bounces left, it's in the end zone for a touchback. It bounced right, went out of bounds, 1st and goal instead, and they get a touchdown.
Yeah, sometimes it just happens that way for you. But again, it's not taking anything away. These guys are a good football team, but it's been just funny to watch, and sometimes that's how it happens.
2nd down and 12. Kenny White trying to make something happen, and he takes it down to the 20. Picking up about 5 or so on the play. Call it about 3rd down and 7 as the clock now is inside of 2 minutes to go. And Phil O'Connor, that defensive captain we've been talking about, they will play to the final whistle of every football game. And this one is about to come to an end in the advantage of the Pine Richland Rams. They were here in 2003. They lost a heartbreaker in that one to Manheim Central in overtime. That was the 3A final, and there were 4 classifications, of course. They lost that 4A final in 2014, so now they go to 6 classifications, and they're going to win their first. So it will finally go the way of the Rams today. And the Pine Richland Rams are going to run out the clock here, and they're going to hand it off to Jordan Crawford, who's inside the 15 and down to about the 13-yard line, and very close to where they need to go to get a first down. A little bit of pushing and shoving after the play is over with, as the frustration starting to mount now for the St. Joe's Hawks. This is what just happens. I mean, we've seen this a lot now over the course of these last couple of days. The final seconds are ticking down. Your emotions are so high at this point in time in the game and at this point in time in the season, and sometimes young men just can't control those emotions any longer. So Gabe Infante is going to get his kids out of the way. He's going to call that 3rd timeout now because he doesn't want to see this thing end. Eric Kasparovich is getting his kids out of the way.
Yep, look, everybody settle down, finish the game the right way.
At the conclusion of the play, we have 2 fouls, 1 against each team. Personal foul, defense, personal foul, offset. They offset. It's 4th down.
And those guys are not going to let this thing get away from them either. And that's the other thing, that's part of the job of the guys in the black and white jerseys, to make sure this thing doesn't get silly. But again, we talked on the field, and we were talking to both coaches, and they both stopped talking to us, which, whatever. Yeah. To talk to each other, because there's a lot of respect for these 2 guys. And they're going to make sure that this thing does not end in a bad way. We've seen some games end in bad ways. It's not going to happen with these 2 guys.
No, very well-coached football teams. These guys do a great job. Obviously, that's why they're both here, and they've had the great seasons that they've had. And look, they also understand, that these guys both played football. They understand the emotion that you put, as a player, you put everything into it. And for a lot of these kids, again, 17, 18 years old, you're never going to play football again when this is over. And the ones that get to go on and play college are very fortunate. But at the end of the day, this is a lot. You put everything into this game when you play. I mean, everything, emotionally, mentally, physically. It's week 15. And, you're spent, and all of a sudden things get out of control, and it's not ending up the way you want it to be, and you lash out a little bit. And then, it goes both ways. It definitely goes both ways.
And so Pine Richland does keep the football. Again, the offsetting personal foul penalties. Result of the play took them close to a first down, but not quite to there. So it's now 4th down and less than a yard to pick up the first down. Jakovic has some trouble with the snap of the football. It's on the ground again, and St. Joe's Prep was going to get it one way or another if they stop Jakovic or if they recover the football, and they do. And so maybe the last play of Phil Jakovic's career might not be one he might want to remember, but they had a lot of good ones right before that.
Yeah, that one won't make the highlight reel right there. There's no doubt about that. But that's it's a little chilly out there. That ball comes back there, and he took his eyes off of it for whatever reason. That's usually what happens, is they start looking up, or they start thinking about where they need to go with the football, and it popped out on him.
Kovic ran for 4 scores tonight. He threw for another. Throwing that one to Ben Yoakum. Jordan Crawford runs for the other touchdown on the board tonight for Pine Richland. And now with 1 minute and 9 seconds left to go, St. Joe's Prep will come out here. They'll run a few more plays. Again, they cannot stop the clock. As McCray will take the snap from his own 15-yard line. Craig going to dump this one off, and it's knocked away and incomplete. And there's Burns again in coverage for Pine Richland.
Burns has done a great job tonight, not only in coverage, but he's come up. He's been really physical in the run game, tackling, but he's done a great job. He's been in Sanders' hip pocket, and he's, I think it was, who else was out there? Freeman. He's handled all those guys really, really well.
McCray, a little quick hitter and a slant into Rightly, makes the catch, gets a first down. Out across the 25 to about the 28-yard line. He'll stop the clock long enough to move the chains. Clock is now inside of 1 minute left to play in the football game. Still shifting players each way. 2 receivers both ways for the Hawks. putting much of a rush onto McCray. He can't find anybody open, so he'll airmail that one out of bounds over Wrightley's head. Incomplete pass will stop the clock with 42 seconds remaining.
Incomplete pass stops the clock with 42 seconds remaining.
It'll be a fun ride back to Pittsburgh for Eric Kasparovich, and he will have a distinction that no one else in the state of Pennsylvania has. Played for and coached. He'll be the first one in PIAA history to play for and coach in a football state championship game. Won it as a player in 1993 at North Hills High School. Another incomplete pass thrown by McCray. Again, it's Kenny White coming up to make the play, help dislodge the football, and any opportunity for Marcus Mason to catch it. Kasparovich, who was a quarterback at North Hills High School when they beat CB West, went on to play football at Pittsburgh at the University of Pitt.
He's done a great job with this program. He's done a great job with the defense. We talked a little bit about how he basically made himself the defensive coordinator, and he's done a really, really good job. They play physical, they play fast, they do a great job. They're where they're supposed to be. They're sound. You know, he's got. I know. You know, he'll never admit it because that's the way football coaches are. But he's done a great job, and they've had a great season.
I mean, he just basically looked at things and said, you know what? Look, I got a great offense. Obviously, I've got a great offense. I got one of the best quarterbacks that's ever played this game in the state of Pennsylvania based on numbers. And my defense is giving up 30 points a game. Something's got to change, and he makes that change, and all of a sudden they're a better defense, and they're about to be a state champion as a result. As St. Joe's Prep will take one more snap. Or will they? They will not even get the snap off. Eric Kasparovich will get the ice bucket dump. And Pine Richland, for the first time ever, is a PIAA football champion. They'll win the 2017 6A state championship. The final score, Pine Richland 41, St. Joe's Prep 21. We'll take a break. We'll come back. Trophies and words with winning coach Eric Kasparovich after this, live on PCN.
Secretary Redding, check this out.
What?
You can watch PCN's coverage of the farm show right here on your phone.
You know you're at the farm show.
Yeah, I know, but when you're here, it's hard to see everything in person. And the best part?
Yeah?
The whole farm show fits right in your pocket.
Did you just come up with that?
Marketing told me to say that.
The Pennsylvania Farm Show, January 6th through the 12th on PCN.
Slam dunk, home run, touchdown, goal! However you score, do it with PCN. Bringing you championship coverage every season. Miss the game-winning point? Catch it again on PCN Select or buy it from the PCN store. With coverage like this, we belong on the medal stand.
Keep the game going with the PCN Select app. Subscribe now to watch this championship on demand or purchase digital downloads, Blu-rays, and DVDs of PCN Sports Championships. Go to PCNTV.com to purchase today.
It's Snow Angel time for the Pine Richland Rams back in the corner of the end zone, doing what kids do after they win a state championship in the snow. They go down and they make their impression on the field with some Snow Angels, and they become kids once again. They're big-time football players, and Pine Richland is your 6A state champion in 2017. Whole lot of Phil Jerkovic in this football game. Threw for a touchdown, ran for 4. And again, when you go into this game and you're going up against a quarterback of that magnitude and this kind of offense, you've got to be on guard against so many things. And again, we talked, and you want to find out about the opponent, you talk to the opposing coach, and Gabe Infante was certainly concerned about what they could do. We asked him, you know, is there anybody you can compare him to? And he said, the only one I can really compare him to was the guy they had before, Danucci, at 2014, and he's obviously starting at Pitt. He's headed to Notre Dame. You're talking about big-time college prospects and big-time high school football players. And in a big game, the big guy comes up big.
Absolutely. The best football player on the field, maybe in the state, and there's a reason for it. And you saw it tonight. He was able to take the game over with his feet, which wasn't how we thought he was going to do it. Threw some good footballs, didn't necessarily get some great catches on the back end by his receivers, but he handled the football game. He made great decisions and then ran the ball really, really well.
The passing game, you're right. It was not the work of art that we may have thought, and certainly the numbers would indicate that not only tonight, but what they were able to do all season long. At 74% completion percentage, obviously he was very crisp with his throws, not only able to always catch it or have his receivers in the right places, and so he ends up 15 for 26. He still threw for almost 200 yards, had the touchdown, had the interception, but the interception really was a mistake on his part. He threw that pass a little bit high, and it was picked off near the goal line. So Jurkovec was not pristine, to say the least, in terms of throwing the football, but he did make big plays, and he found a way to get it done. And again, not only can he do it and can he hurt you with his arms, but if you're going to be effective in that spread offense as a quarterback, you've got to be able to run the football, and obviously he can do that.
Absolutely. When you look at, he's going to go play at Notre Dame as long as that commitment stays and all that, that recruiting process stays the way that everybody hopes it does. The Fighting Irish, they run that spread offense. Brian Kelly runs that type of offense out there. He'll fit in it perfectly. Again, he's a good football player. You don't realize how athletic he is. 6'5", 220 pounds, and he runs like that, and he's got an absolute cannon for an arm.
He sure does. He certainly showed that to everybody in this game tonight. And the guy holding up that trophy certainly had a big part of it as well. Jordan Crawford got the game rolling for Pine Richland with that big kickoff return, ran a couple of nice plays, ended up getting the last touchdown as well, and he's the ultimate compliment to a player like Jurkovec. Now time to check in with the winning coach. Steve Degler has Eric Kasparovich.
All right, Bob, thank you very much. Coach, congratulations. First football title in school history. How key was the defense for you guys tonight?
Interrupt this long story.
You may gladly get that trophy. The defense.
I'll tell you what, I don't even know about the defense. That's a team win. I'm so proud of these seniors. There's 26 seniors that worked the past 8 months, worked their butt off for this. They get all the credit in the world. They came out here and beat the Kings. State champs for the past 4 years. Hats off to Coach Infante. He does such a great job. But it was our night tonight. I couldn't be prouder of these guys.
Obviously, Phil has been a dual threat all season long, but was the game plan to use him on the ground as much, or did that kind of evolve as the game wore on?
It definitely kind of evolved, but as we like to joke around, we took him out of the garage. Most of the season, we kept him parked. Tonight, he was out of the garage, full go, and it kind of how the game played out. They kind of took some other things away, and Phil made some plays with his feet.
Kenny White, physical and defense, how much of an impact does he have in the game for you?
It's huge, and Kenny's awesome. He brings that physical mentality to our football team, to our defense especially. And our defensive front, our linebackers, our coaches did such a great job. I couldn't be more proud of my staff. The halftime adjustments, because that was a tough game there in the beginning. We came out and made some key changes there in the second half, and hats off to my staff for doing some great things there in the second half.
It was a big third quarter. What were some of the tweaks you made at halftime?
Yeah, they were pressuring us inside and in our run game, so we threw the ball to the perimeter more, got the ball on the perimeter more offensively. And defensively, we just kept pressuring them. We did a lot of movement early. That touchdown run they broke there in the third quarter, they schemed up a good play against us, and then we kind of backed off and it's a cat and mouse game. They're a good staff. They look at the play, they figure it out, they counter, we got to counter back. And that's the way a 6A championship should be.
Congratulations. Go enjoy this.
Thank you very much.
We're going to bring Phil in here right now. 4 touchdowns on the ground, 1 through the air. Congratulations on this win. I know you guys beat a great team here tonight. How tough was that opponent?
Yeah, hats off to them. They were very tough. They played us tough, so it was early on we couldn't get much going just because they were flying around, and they're very well coached, you can tell.
Coach said in terms of you running the football, they took you out of the garage tonight. Was it nice to be able to go out there and carry it as much?
Yes, for most of the season, the coaches have wanted to limit my touches, and they've done a really good job of that, but for the state championship game, they just said I'm allowed to do whatever I want. Just go out there and I can run around as much as I need to.
We were talking about how physical your defense is. I guess it's nice for you not to have to play against them in a game, huh?
Oh, yeah, our defense won us that game. Defense wins championships, and that's true. Our defense won this game for us, so we got credit now.
Your basketball team got here in March and lost in the state final to Reading High. Did that help you in any way, preparing maybe mentally coming into this football game tonight?
For sure. Me and Andrew Kristofik, we lost that, and going all that way and losing was devastating for us. But we had in our mind, we told each other after we lost that we're going to have a shot in football. So let's go and get it done. And so it feels like so great to go out and win after losing.
You've accomplished so much already in your short life. Where does this rank for you?
It's number one. It's got to be. It's got to be number one. To bring it home to Pine Richland is the first ever championship, and they've gone here twice before, but have come up just short, so it just means a ton for all of us.
Congratulations on the win. Go enjoy it with your teammates.
Thank you so much.
Bob, back upstairs to you.
Thank you very much. Great job on the sideline, Steve Degler. Great job by all of us in our crew. Again, thanks very much to our crew from Service Electric TV2 Sports in Allentown. These guys have been braving the elements and bringing you the sights and sounds of high school football state championships throughout this 3-day coverage, and it's now concluded. 6 football games in the books, and Pine Richland wins the last of those football games. They'll remain unbeaten on the season. St. Joe's Prep finishes 13-1. The District 12 champion is the state runner-up. Pine Richland, the District 7 champion, will take home the 6A trophy. For all of us who helped us out along the way, our producer for PCN is Paul Podolsky. Our director throughout the weekend has been Donnie Long. Thanks to the guys in the booth helping us out, Travis Sparks, Jeff Zimmerman, keeping the pencils moving and giving you all the numbers. Meg Bolger, Steve Degler on the sidelines, Mike Zambelli, Jim Wills. From my colleague Brandon Noble, my name is Bob McCool. Hope you've enjoyed another championship weekend here on PCN. Pine Richland is your 6A champion. They win it 41.
Punxsutawney Phil, Pennsylvania's most famous groundhog. Groundhog Day, February 2nd, only on PCN.
The PCN family. Our roots run deep. What grew out of a plan to distribute educational programming has grown into the nation's leading statewide public affairs network. Since 1979, PCN has been supported by cable operators across the state. It is because of this generous support that PCN uses no state or federal tax dollars, reaching more than 10 million of our neighbors. Thank your cable operator. We do. You're getting ready for a family dinner on a warm summer day. An unexpected visitor arrives and tells you that 2 armies are about to clash on your front doorstep. That's what happened when the bloodiest battle ever on American soil raged across the countryside of Gettysburg, Pennsylvania in 1863.
Local people were warned the Confederates were moving north. People from Hagerstown, well south of here along the mountain range, were coming into Gettysburg and saying that the Confederates were moving north, and that if they chose to come over the mountains, that their harvests were in danger.
Gettysburg Battle Walks are guided tours of the historic battlefield, led by the experts who can tell you what happened. Each battle walk lets you walk in the shoes of the men who fought and died here.
Explore the historic battlefields with the Gettysburg Collection, presented by PCN Select. Become a member to stream the library online. Learn more at gettysburgcollection.com.
Secretary Redding, check this out.
What?
You can watch PCN's coverage of the farm show right here on your phone.
You know you're at the farm show.
Yeah, I know, but when you're here, it's hard to see everything in person. And the best part?
Yeah?
The whole farm show fits right in your pocket.
Did you just come up with that?
Marketing told me to say that.
The Pennsylvania Farm Show, January 6th through the 12th on PCN.
Success in the classroom and on campus. Success in the local community. Success in the real world. Discover the infinite opportunities to become successful at one of the 14 universities in Pennsylvania's state system of higher education. Discover your future on Infinite Opportunities, Sundays at 9:30 a.m. on PCN. Struggling to find the perfect gift for everyone on your list? PCN Select has you covered. Gettysburg for Grandma, PIAA Championships for Dad, Farm Show for Grandpa, PCN Tours for Mom. There's something for the whole family. Give the gift of Pennsylvania this holiday season with a subscription to PCN Select and stream your favorite programs online, on the app, and on Roku. Finish your shopping with a single click and